The Dogs are out tonight at CHO Airport Field as we welcome you into the broadcast on Bark in the Park night. The Charlottesville Tom Sox will looking to have zoomies around the bases against the Newmarket Rebels. The Sox have been good boys lately, winning 3 of their last 4 games and looking to keep improving as we stride into the middle portion of the 2025 season. I'm Landon Weaver. Alongside me is Daniel Stein. And Daniel, with the lineup that the Sox put out tonight on the field, the bats should be barking.
Yeah, the bats should be barking indeed on Bark in the Park night. This is a Tom Sox team that this is really the most momentum they've had in what feels like all season. Even though they lost their most recent game to Culpeper, that was part 2 of a doubleheader, they've won 3 of their last 4. It started with Harrisonburg, a great team in the VBL this year. Then they beat Waynesboro in a thriller last Friday, and then they took game 1 of that doubleheader versus Culpeper yesterday away, and now they return home against a team in Newmarket that they haven't played all season long.
Yeah, they're going to need to get their bats going early as we look at our keys to the game real quick. So for me, Tom Sox need to find the zone consistently. We saw yesterday in the doubleheader, they were doing well, 0-0 going into the bottom of the 4th, and then balls started coming in, walks started happening, and from then forth, they couldn't really get any offense going. They also need to get the bats cracking early. Too many times this season we've seen the Tom Sox be stagnant early on and get themselves into a hole. And if the pitcher is hot, you gotta keep letting them cook. We saw it. They did it the other night with Evan Allwine. If they can continue to do that with Tim Lawson tonight on the mound, then it'll be a great start for the Tom Sox.
Yeah, definitely, Landon. And to that point about finding the zone consistently and letting the pitcher cook, one of my keys to the game is avoiding those blow-up innings. Yesterday versus Culpeper, in that 7-inning game, they gave up a 6-run 4th inning. A lot of that was just walks and weak contact. That's something that when the Tom Sox avoid those big innings where they give up 5 or more runs, they're golden. My other keys to the game, score first. The Tom Sox are 2-2 when they score first, but they're also 0-6 when they're trailing after 8 innings. So this is a team that when they get out to a good start, there is a much better chance of them doing well, as they're 4-7 when the other team scores first. And then finally, energy, energy, energy. We really saw this on Friday at Waynesboro, where the Tom Sox bullpen, they were doing some barking. They were really making sure that they were encouraging their team. The dugout was as well, and that's, I think, what catapulted to that win. And I think that if they can keep that energy up, especially in front of this home crowd, Landon, it's going to be a good night here versus Newmarket.
Speaking of the bullpen and speaking of pitcher energy, let's take a look at the Tom Sox starter for tonight. Tim Lawson, the left-handed pitcher out of the University of North Carolina, 6'5", 230. Did not throw a pitch this season for the Tar Heels, but he has started 3 games, making this his 4th for the Tom Sox. 6.1 innings pitched, an 8.53 ERA with 9 strikeouts and 6 earned runs. What are you looking forward out of Lawson tonight?
I think Tim Lawson just needs to do what he's continued to do. He's put together really solid starts. You take a look at them. His most recent one at Winchester, he put in 3 innings, 2 hits, only gave up 1 earned run. He hasn't given up more than 3 earned runs, knock on wood, Landon. But right now he's got a lefty-lefty matchup to start with Jonathan Mallow.
The first pitch to Mallow is high. It'll go down as ball 1. Mallow, a sophomore out of Potomac State College in Kaiser, West Virginia. Did not play for them this season, but for the Rebels, he's batting .238. The 1-0 from Lawson. Outside again, ball 2.
With Tim Lawson, you're going to get a pretty heavy dose of fastball slider. He's a guy who's going to stay in those low 90s, but I think it's the deception that really works him.
It's 2-0 to Mallow. Nearly hits him. Count strikes up to ball 3. Early hitters count here for Mallow, the leadoff man for the Rebels. Lawson will deal. And that one can't locate the zone. 4 early balls for Lawson sends Mallow to first base.
It's a fairly uncharacteristic start for Lawson, Landon. He's only walked 3 batters in his 6 innings of work. He didn't have any in his first start at Waynesboro, but in his most recent one, he had 1. Lawson, he had a really solid performance in the strikeout column. He had 5, but with a man on here, the Sox are in some early trouble.
Logan Kelly stepping up to the plate. Lawson's first pitch to him inside the zone for strike 1. Kelly so far loves to swing. In his 67 at-bats, he has 22 strikeouts, which is 2nd in the Valley League. The 0-1 from Lawson. Just a bit outside for 1-1. But you see, Kelly has multiple home runs on the season, a pretty rare thing to find here in the Valley League, as Tanner Shadle and the Tom Sox also became the first to reach multiple home runs on the season. Throws over to first. Runner's safe. But for a guy that's batting 194, to be able to hit 2 home runs is quite impressive.
Comes with the price, though. He's got 22 strikeouts on the season, second in the entirety of the Valley League.
The 1-1 from Lawson. Pop foul, 1-2. He also likes to steal bases. In his 2 years at Colorado State University, Pueblo, he was able to steal base 17 times out of 24 attempts. Lawson looking to strike out Kelly here, the 1-2. Popped into shallow right field, and he will reach first. Mallow will get the second. First base hit coming from Logan Kelly.
Yeah, it's tough luck for Lawson to start off. I mean, that slider is not greatly placed, but it was still in on the bat of Kelly, and that ball just found the space between Jackson Soroy and Tanner Shadle.
Up next for the Rebels is one of 2 Dobkowskis tonight. This one is Michael Dobkowski, playing out of right field. His brother, John, will be playing behind the plate tonight. Quite rare that you see a brother matchup, or a brother tandem on the same team. First pitch to Dobkowski is swung and popped up into shallow right. That one's going to drop for another base hit, and the bases are going to stay loaded for the Rebels. Not quite the start that the Tom Sox would want, as Lawson quickly loads the bases for the Rebels.
Yeah, this is just a blooper into right center field, and again, it hasn't been hard contact, but this is about the last guy you want up at the plate here in Matthew Murphy with the bases loaded and nobody out.
Easily the best batter on this Rebels squad, batting .286 and 49 at-bats on the season. The first pitch to him, high, and that will go down as a ball. So Lawson, some trouble locating the zone early tonight. Not too many strikes so far. Bases loaded for the Rebels. The 1-0 from Lawson. Swing and a miss. Lawson gets on the board for 1-1.
Yeah, his battery mate, Brock Clayton, the Florida product, behind the plate, and then the infield, Soroy and Gamster in the middle, and then Tanner Shadle at first, and Hudson Luderman at third.
The 1-1 just goes a bit low for 2-1. Matthew Murphy has the team's only RBI in the last couple of games. He's really their only offensive firepower. He's bound to get a couple more here, as he has a bases loaded scenario with no outs on the board here in the top of the first. Lawson will deal the 2-1. Swing and a miss. 2-2 now. Lawson finding his stride. Murphy with 14 hits on the season. 2-2, swing and a miss. Lawson gets him swinging for the first out of the game. And a big, big moment there, as he really needed something.
Well, that's the guy, if there's anyone to get out, that's Murphy, and Lawson just powers him. He consistently couldn't catch up to the fastball, and he locates it well, and Murphy just swings through it.
That brings up the D3 All-American Blaine Waltmeyer. And Lawson will deal to the lefty. Strike one. Blaine Waltmeyer out of Penn State Harrisburg has played 3 seasons there and holds the program record for doubles in a season with 20. 0-1 the count to Waltmeyer. Lawson. His pitch is pop foul. Count moves to 0-2.
Yeah, it is D3, Landon, but those numbers just really eye-popping when you see he had a bit of a slump in his sophomore year where his average dipped down to 244 compared to 318 his freshman year. And then his junior year, 394, 74 hits, also stole nearly 20 bags as well.
Finds himself in an 0-2 hole here. Lawson's pitch can't locate the zone. Ball one.
But Landon, this is the epitome of summer baseball right here. You have a guy who plays for a D3 school going up against ACC Tim Lawson. This is an interesting matchup.
Some things just got to wrap your head around here in the Valley Baseball League, as Lawson's 1-2, moves up to 2-2. He's even the count. But it seems that Waltmeyer hasn't been able to find that same success here in the Valley Baseball League, only batting 111 with 5 hits and 45 at-bats. Lawson will deal the 2-2. Same pitch and same result. 3 balls in a row for Tim Lawson. He's trying to get him to swing. Just can't find the sweet spot yet.
Yeah, it's a guy in Waltmeyer who had 17 walks in his first 2 seasons, but then 29 in his junior year, so he walked more at Harrisburg. Did they just call a balk?
They did call a balk as Lawson seemed to drop the ball on the mound. So that will send home Jonathan Mallow. And it'll move the runners forward with Waltmeyer still at the plate.
It's going to sting, especially in a 2-strike count, but then even worse, it moves the runners to second and third, which means it takes away the possibility of a double play.
The payoff pitch popped into shallow left field. That catch is going to be made by Nunnally. He throws home, but not in time, as Logan Kelly also comes home to join the party. 2-0 Rebels here early. Waltmeyer with the sac fly out to left.
Batting 6th, the catcher from Enterprise State Junior College, number 13, John.
Yeah, it's good enough for Waltmeyer's 4th RBI of the season. Not the worst outcome for Lawson, as you still get an out, but this has not been that ideal first inning. We talked about how you wanted the Tom Sox to score first, and that starts with a scoreless inning, but it just didn't happen.
Brings up Ethan Olmos out of Arizona Western College. First pitch to him is in the dirt. It's John Dobkowski, my apologies. The brother of Mike Dobkowski. Count is 1-0, and here comes Randy Tomlin. Never like to see an early mound visit, especially in the top of the first inning, but kind of seemed inevitable.
Fans that any foul balls that you retrieve today,
yeah, you know, Randy Tomlin, a former big league pitcher himself, and obviously a lefty too, so this is going to be close to his heart here, but this is a big situation in this game. You just want to limit the damage as much as you can. 2 runs is not the end of the world, especially this early, but with that runner still in scoring position and a guy in Dobkowski at the plate, you have to be careful here if you're Lawson.
So Mike Dobkowski is now at third base. His brother looking to send him home. The 1-0. Strike 1. Count moves to 1-1. Lawson trying to get out of this inning. He will deal. Finds it again. Strike 2. Whatever Randy Tomlin told him is definitely working. Lawson looking to just throw one more pitch here in this inning and get out of what is a pretty big disaster. The 1-2 nearly strikes Dobkowski. 2-2 now the count.
And Dobkowski, a guy who's been in the Valley before. He played for Newmarket last year, but he also played for Woodstock. He was really good when he played for the Rebels, hit over 350.
The 2-2 to Dobkowski. Called strike 3, and that'll end the inning as the Newmarket Rebels put up 2. The Tom Sox have a chance to get back on the board. Welcome back to CHO Airport Field. The Tom Sox looking to get some runs in after Tim Lawson unfortunately let in 2 to begin the game. We start off with Kyle Langley, and he will face a former Duke, or a current Duke, a current teammate, and Jason Scheifetz on the mound. A little James Madison action as Kyle Langley will be hitting out of the designated hitter spot, a new position for him today. As he is normally in the outfield area.
Yeah, Langley, someone who was pretty reliably in center for most of the start of the season, Landon, but then he just kind of fell out of the lineup. He wasn't in the lineup for the first game against Culpeper. He was in the lineup for the second game, but he was at left, so don't exactly know what's going on there. Maybe Randy Tomlin just experimenting with the lineup, but Langley has been a really reliable fixture in the starting lineup, especially in the leadoff spot.
Langley on the season batting very close to 300 with 8 RBIs, a home run, 12 hits, and only striking out 5 times. So yes, very reliable in that he gets on base a good portion of the time. Has only struck out 5 times in all the at-bats that he's had. And he started in 10 of the 11 games that the Sox have played. So a guy that Randy Tomlin really has liked so far and has continued to like as he picks up his 11th start today.
Yeah, Langley, a guy who, you know, he's played 2 full seasons of college baseball already at JMU, and you know, his prowess as a leadoff hitter isn't necessarily somebody who's going to hit over 300. He didn't in either season at JMU, and he's not this year. He's hitting 277, but he's always going to give you a good at-bat, and he's always going to put the ball in play.
Langley steps up to the plate. Scheifetz will deal. Finds the zone for strike 1. It'd be interesting to see this kind of battle today, a James Madison versus a James Madison matchup. Scheifetz, as he throws that one into the dirt on the season, pitching a 4.00 ERA with 9 innings pitched and 7 strikeouts, so not too bad for the Rebel. The 1-1 to Langley, popped up into the air. Tracking it is Kelly, and he will make a standing catch. Barely had to move out of his center field position for that one.
Batting second, the shortstop from TCU, number 8, Preston Gamster.
Preston Gamster, the hamster from TCU, steps up to the plate. Hit a home run in his last home at bat. That one was also an early at bat as well in the bottom of the first, as he pops that one foul for 0-1.
Yeah, our buddy Nate Schwartz was on the call for Gamster's home run, and he was second in the lineup that day too, and let's see what he can do on an 0-1.
The 0-1 turns to 0-2 as Scheifetz finds the zone. Gamster so far has been a really, really bright spot for the Tom Sox, batting .333 with 4 hits. That one just below the zone, logs for a ball. The 1-2 towards Gamster. Swung on and hit to the shortstop and thrown over to first. Murphy makes the catch in time. Peterson with a sweet grab off the dirt. And that's 2 outs now for the Tom Sox.
Let's see what Nunnally can do. He played in that first game of the doubleheader where he came on towards the end of it. He walked in the 6th and collected a double in the 8th, but didn't end up playing in the second half of it. And so he's in the 3 spot tonight, and this has been kind of a busy stretch for the Tom Sox here, but Nunnally has been just getting better as the season goes on.
Nunnally takes a strike for the first pitch, swings on that one, 0-2. But yeah, you talk about a busy stretch. The Tom Sox have played so many games in a consecutive stretch of days. It's hard to really even keep count with that doubleheader yesterday. The 0-2, the curveball can't locate the zone. Count moves to 1-2, but playing 16 innings of baseball in one day has to take a toll both physically and mentally, and I think we saw that in the second game. The 1-2, just a bit outside for an even count.
Yeah, and 16 innings of baseball in one day is bad enough, and then you remember that they played 11 innings the night before at Waynesboro. So, I mean, but this is summer baseball. A lot of these guys, they've never really played this often before.
The 2-2. Nunnally pops it up into foul territory. And it's tracked and caught by Johnson. And that'll end the inning. No, it won't. My apologies. The umpire deemed that it went out of bounds. So the catch will not count, although it was a great catch. So it's going to be a 2-2 count still for James Nunnally. Not sure I've seen that one before. That one can't locate the zone, back to 2-2.
Yeah, that one is confusing to me. Maybe the ball must have hit something while it was in the leather. I'm not quite sure what happened there.
Nonetheless, James Nunnally gets an extra chance at getting to on base, and he does, as Scheifetz deals into the dirt for ball 4. I was a little messed up on my balls there with the renewed count, but nonetheless, James Nunnally gets on base. And that brings up Andrew Manley, a man who has taken the Valley League by storm.
Yeah, his numbers just speak for themselves. He's in 438 on the season, over a 1,200 OPS.
Pops that one foul.
That foul ball was brought to
He's
you
a
by
great
Taylor's
football
Auto
thrower
Body.
too, Daniel.
Yeah, I had a chance to talk to him earlier today for Tom Sox Weekly, which will be out next week. And he was a guy who was a dual sport athlete in high school. He played high school football in a very competitive environment in Georgia, but ultimately chose baseball, and here he is today.
The 0-1 to Manley, just outside for ball 1. It's cool to see some of those dual athletes, and he talked about having to choose between baseball and football. And obviously he made the right choice. He's batting .421 or .438 in almost 10 games played now on the season for him. The 1-1 to Manley, outside again for ball 2. Part of the Wofford Terriers team that was able to make it to a regional. Played in Chapel Hill. He was on the all-regional squad there. A big part of the SoCon Terriers. Manley will watch it as the ball sails into the glove for ball 3, and now he got a pickle. And not only is caught trying to steal, and that will end the inning. Something that we have seen before, and the Tom Sox will head to the top of the second, still down 2-0. Quite a hectic first inning on both sides of the ball as the Tom Sox find themselves in a 2-0 hole, and we have the non-catch over here, the maybe missed ball count to back pick over here, and a lot of baffling stuff there in the first inning. Looking for a second and smoother inning here is Tim Lawson back on the mound for the Tom Sox.
Yeah, Lawson, that first inning wasn't terrible, but that balk call really, I think, killed the momentum, especially when he had Murphy on that 2-strike count. But he's got a fresh inning here. Let's see what he can do.
First pitch to Jack Johnson. Can't locate the zone for ball one. Johnson out of Oklahoma City University, the Stars, and from Arlington, Washington, has played 3 seasons there. 14 games for the Rebels as he pops that one foul. Batting .209 with 1 homer, 20 strikeouts and 43 at-bats, however. So, quite like his teammate, I believe that was Logan Kelly. They love to swing. The 1-1 pop backwards for strike 2.
Yeah, and you have to remember that this is a Newmarket team that's 5-11 on the season. There has to be a reason for that, right? And you go down the order, and this is a pretty small roster. They don't have a lot of players. They don't even have 30 players on the roster. It is just the guys have not been able to hit at a high enough average.
Lawson deals, and that one just a bit high for a 2-2 count. Jack Johnson hit 4 home runs last season for Oklahoma City. Played his first 2 years of college at Santa Barbara City College. Lawson, that pitch is way high. Clayton with a good catch to keep it from hitting the backstop. Full count now to Jack Johnson. The payoff pitch coming from Tim Lawson. Looking to strike out Johnson. Lawson deals. Swing and a miss. Johnson goes down swinging for strike 1. For out 1.
There's 3 strikeouts already for Lawson, and you know he had 5 in his last start, but he's getting there pacing-wise to easily best that. Now he's got a lefty-lefty matchup with the designated hitter Avey, but so far his fastball command has been there. The slider command is not quite, but the fastball has.
First pitch to Avey is in the dirt for ball 1. Noah Avey out of University of Pittsburgh Bradford has not hit a home run in either collegiate or Valley Baseball League careers, which is surprising considering he's had near 300 at-bats. A good hitter, on the other hand. I mean, he's hit .313 last season with 26 hits and only 8 strikeouts. More of a grounder guy, not so much a fly guy. The 1-0 to Avey. Hit foul, 1-1. Nearly took out our microphone. Lawson even the count to 1-1. Here it is. And that one's going to clip Avey and send him to first. Just barely got him.
Yeah, that ball must have just brushed off the jersey, but just a bizarre start to this game between not only getting picked off and the pop out that was called back. There's just been, again, the old adage just proves true every single time. You come to the ballpark and you're going to see something you've never seen before.
It's the beauty of baseball, really. So 1 out on the board. A runner on first. Lawson's first pitch to Peterson is a strike. Brandon Peterson out of Abilene Christian. Resides in Sarasota, Florida. The 0-1. Swung on and hit to center field. Hargett backing up, and he makes the grab. Easy as you like for out 2. And that brings up the top of the order now. Jonathan Mallow, who reached on walks in his first at-bat. Guy that has been able to hit the ball pretty well here for the Rebels. Didn't play in college. 2 outs. Lawson looking to retire a third. His first pitch is high for ball 1.
Yeah, and just it keeps showing Lawson's slider location. It was pretty good to Waltmeyer in that at-bat where he was giving him a good amount of chase pitches, but he just wasn't chasing. But as you see there, the fastball velocity has been it's been much easier for him to locate it, but the slider has just been a little bit more erratic than we're used to seeing from Tim.
Trying to work out the early game flukes as he throws over to first. Unable to get Avey out. Still 1-1 the count. 2 outs on the board. Rebels lead 2-0. The 1-1 to Mallow. High again for ball 2.
Get back in there.
Lawson signed to play both baseball and football at the University of North Carolina, a 3-star football prospect. So talked about the amount of dual sport athletes as we ask if Mallow went, and yes, he did. So he completed the cycle, strike 2, but being both a baseball and a football player, that's nonstop student athlete activities.
Yeah, but at a prestigious school like North Carolina, I mean.
Wow, that pitch nearly hit Mallow. Would have if he hadn't ducked. Count runs full.
UNC, of course, if he chooses to stick with football, he'd be playing for Bill Belichick.
Pretty cool. I would definitely want to play for Bill Belichick. The 3-2, swing and a miss. Lawson able to get back on track with 2 strikeouts, and he sends us to the bottom of the second. Andrew Manley up to bat for the second time today. The first time today, as he was up to bat last inning, and then James Nunnally was caught stealing after a back pick the first. So Nunnally gets a clean at bat, as it would seem. Never really can be sure after the way the first 1.5 innings have gone here in Charlottesville.
Yeah, I know. I was using pen for my scorebook, and now I regret that because I just completely screwed up that square. I was writing in so many things, had to scratch them out, and then now Manley gets another try here in the second.
The first pitch to Manley, just above the zone for ball 1. Scheifetz, the James Madison Duke, will deal to Manley. The 1-0. Popped up into the air. Chasing it is Peterson. Johnson will make the catch. So that one will stay in play. Count as an out. Manley goes 0 for 1.
Just very close to the ball that Nunnally hit just a couple of batters ago, but these Tom Sox hitters just have to do a better job of hitting line drives because everything has just been weak contact so far.
That brings up Hudson Luderman, who had an RBI double yesterday in Culpeper and the team's first home run of the season against the Woodstock River Bandits. Count runs 1-0 as Scheifetz deals into the dirt. Luderman swung on and hit way out into left field, and that one runs foul, but man alive, if that had stayed in play, We could be talking about another Luderman home run. That one had some velo.
Yeah, Luderman, a guy who hit the first home run of the season for the Tom Sox right down that left field line, but just couldn't swing it fair.
Count is now 1-1. Scheifert steals. Luderman fouls it off. 1-2. Saw him practicing earlier today, trying to hit it around second base, looking to get into that coveted center field grass. The 1-2 to Luderman. Thought about swinging, decided not to, and it was a good choice as that one sailed above the zone for ball 2. The 2-2. Luderman cracks it into shallow left, and that's a base hit. He's rounding first, holds up, and will track back to first as the Tom Sox get on base here in the second. Their first hit of the day.
Good job by Luderman here. He took a couple of pitches above the zone that, you know, he likes to swing at sometimes, but this one he just gets an off speed in the zone and rips it out into left field, and now you got the runner on, and you got the tying run at the plate here in the Florida product, Brock Clayton.
Clayton has been an absolute rock in his early start here at catcher as he swings and hits that one into center field. Kelly's tracking it. He's under it, and he's got it. Luderman will go back to first. 2 outs on the board here in the bottom of the second.
Yeah, puts Jackson Soroy at the plate, and a guy who has been kind of up and down recently with the team. He's dealing with a really crowded middle infield, especially with Gamster and Sowers now on the team, but you know the talent's there.
That first pitch to him is very close to Jackson Soroy. Will go down for a ball. He's played shortstop and second base so far this season. No home runs. With 8 hits as that one is dealt low for ball 2. Batting .250 in 12 games played, so not horrible. The 2-0 to Soroy. Way above. Luderman was leading a little bit, got back to first in time. So 3-0 the count. Still 2 outs on the board for Jackson Soroy as time is called. Soroy just 3 RBIs on the season. Batted .227 for UVA this past spring. 20 games played. The 3-0 to Soroy, a hitter's count. Right down the middle for strike 1. A good pitch there from Scheifert. The 3-1. Another strike. Count running full. The payoff pitch coming up from Jason Scheifert to Jackson Soroy. That one popped way foul. I'm a little worried about my car, actually.
Want to sponsor that foul ball? Visit TomSox.org.
He nuked that one into the parking lot.
Yeah, I feel like I heard a thump somewhere. I don't think it quite got around to where you're parked, Landon, but it might have hit off the school, maybe.
The 3-2 again. Low and below the zone for ball 4. Sox put 2 on base here in the bottom of the second.
Batting 8th, the first baseman from Old Dominion.
This is the guy that you want at the plate recently. One of the guys you want at the plate, Tanner Shadle. He's had a couple of home runs in his last 2 games, and he's a weapon when he's this far down in the lineup.
That one cracked into right field. That's a base hit. Luderman coming home. He's going to have to beat the throw, and he will. Luderman slides and grabs the plate as the Tom Sox get on base, and a Newmarket Rebel fan is not happy at all. Just as you talked about, Tanner Shadle, a hidden gem here in the Tom Sox lineup, and gets another RBI after his 2-run home run yesterday. Yeah.
I mean, Shadle just continues his good work with another RBI. It's good enough for his 6th of the season. I thought that they hosed Luderman at the plate. Good throw from Dobkowski, but Home plate umpire disagreed.
And that ball is popped up by Hargett, and it will end the inning. So the Tom Sox get one back. They lead. They trail 2-1.
2 hits, no errors.
Tom Sox half the lead to 2-1. Rebels still in front here as we head into the top of the third. Luderman able to just barely slide into home plate, beating the tag. Lawson stays on the mound, and Logan Kelly steps up to the plate.
It's going to be Kelly's second at bat. He reached in the first with kind of a weirdly hit line drive into right field that got between the infielders, but Lawson back for his third inning of work.
Began to find his stride late in the second inning as he throws a ball for the first pitch. The 1-0. Down into the dirt. 2-0 now the count. Lawson, 2 strikeouts. Last inning had 2 strikeouts in the first inning. A bit overshadowed by the 2 runs scored as that one finds the zone for strike 1. Lawson gets on the board. Kelly swings that one, and that one's popped up way in the air. Brock Clayton tracking it, and he's got it for out number 1. I will say I think that's the first time that I've seen a pop-up that has been able to be caught by our catcher.
Right fielder.
Most of the time it'll come right over the fence or go over the bullpen.
Yeah, for those of you watching at home, you know, where the screen kind of cuts off as the edge of the home plate dirt, that's pretty much how much grass is back there. It's really not a big backstop, but it was in the right spot for Clayton to make that catch.
Lawson locates for strike 1. Really beginning to deal here. He's showing that Tar Heel spirit. The 0-1 to Dobkowski is high for ball 2. Mike. This is Mike Dobkowski. Not to be confused with catcher John Dobkowski. The 1-1. Swing and a miss from Mike Dobkowski. 1-2 now the count. Lawson really striding here, looking for his 5th strikeout of the day. The 1-2. Swing and a miss. He got him. That's number 5. And 2 outs now here in the top of the third. The Tom Sox, after a little bit of a blunder in that first inning, have really come together defensively.
He's now tied his season high here at 5 strikeouts, and he's just been rolling through this third inning so far.
Up steps Matt Murphy. The first pitch to him is a ball. But yeah, Lawson has dealt 50 pitches so far today, 27 of them being strikes. As that one can't locate the zone for another ball. 2-0. Looking to Strike Matt Murphy out again as he did in the first inning. There it is, a strike to make it 2-1. It's the beauty of a lefty, really. You know, you never know what you're going to get with them, but when it's on, it's on. The 2-1. Pop foul, and that bat is swung and flies towards the Newmarket dugout. Could have killed somebody.
Well, thankfully it didn't. It hit the fence just to the right of the dugout. So Newmarket has a bat boy back there that it probably went over his head, but it's always a scary play, and especially at this park, there's a fence that goes to the dugouts, and thankfully there's no fan sitting down the line extended past it.
Count moves to 2-2. Did he go? Yes, he did. Lawson gets his 6th strikeout in 3 innings and sends us to the bottom of the third.
After the top of the 3rd inning, Rebels.
Welcome back to CHO Airport Field as we head into the bottom of the third. Sox still down 2-1. We have not a player, but a new introduction to the Tom Sox as welcome in our buddy Midge. Yeah, this is the dog of Chesley Mullins, the Tom Sox CEO and president. Look at her.
Yeah, there's the Midge. She's probably walking around here somewhere in this game, but there's a good amount of pooches here, so it's always a fun time barking the park. And is this our unofficial official mascot, the Midge?
I think it should be, as Kyle Langley steps up to the plate, facing off against Jason Scheifetz. First pitch to him is a ball. We'll have a couple more dog surprises on the broadcast today, as it is Bark in the Park Day here in CHO Airport Field. The 1-0 to Langley. Swung on and hit towards right field. Tracking it is center fielder Logan Kelly. He makes the grab for out 1.
Preston Gamster.
Yeah, a couple of F8s for Langley so far tonight. And, you know, normally he hits the ball on the ground, but so far he's just gotten under it.
Good to see the bats getting on the balls as the first pitch to Gamster is high for ball 1. Scheifetz dealing pretty well. No strikeouts yet, but only 1 run let in as Gamster uncorks that one into foul territory.
That ball was brought to you by Taylor's Auto Body.
Yeah, we did have a dog in the press box earlier today. And maybe he'll be making another appearance later. Who knows? The 1-0 nearly hits Gamster. Count goes to 2-0. He just loves this little spot underneath Daniel's feet, though. He'll sit there for hours and hours just resting in the cool breeze. The 2-1 from Scheifetz to Gamster. Away from Gamster for ball 3. Hitters count now for Preston.
Yeah, I think the dogs, they like the seclusion under the table of the press box. And, of course, on a day like this where it's like 100 degrees outside, it's nice to be in the AC.
The 3-1. Into the dirt for ball 4. Gamster gets himself on base. Bringing up James Nunnally, who was caught stealing earlier today.
Left fielder James Nunnally.
able to reach on balls in the first inning. As Gian DeCastro walks by, rocking the turtleneck and long sleeves, somehow in this 95-degree heat. First pitch to Nunnally is a ball. Throw over to first, trying to pick off Gamster, unable to, but very close. Nunnally from UVA out of Aldie, Virginia, appeared in 48 games this season for the Cavaliers. 2-0 now the count.
And Gamster not necessarily a steal threat over there. He hasn't stolen a base. He also hasn't been caught. But normally it's Nunnally who's speeding around the base paths.
As Nunnally pops that one up. Tracking it is Murphy, and he's got it for out number 2. Nunnally pops it up. Easy catch for the first baseman to make. That will bring up Andrew Manley. Flew out to third.
Right fielder, Andrew
last
Manley.
inning. Tying run is at first base. The leading run is now Andrew Manley at home plate. With 2 outs on the board, Tom Sox would like to get something here. And what better guy to bring something in, right?
This is who you want at the plate. He's got the most experience of probably any of these Tom Sox hitters, maybe with the exception of Preston Gamster, who had a couple of seasons in JUCO ball. But Manley has been really solid, and this is the matchup that he likes. He's hitting nearly 500 versus right-handed pitching this season.
The first pitch is high, and Gamster thought about stealing, but cut himself off. 1-0. The offhanded battle between Scheifetz and Manley. Scheifetz won the first one as Manley flew out to third. The 1-0. Manley swings and drives that one into right field. Tracking it is Dobkowski, and he makes the grab.
No runs on no
So,
hits, no errors, and
another
1 man left on base.
4-hitter inning for the
Field,
Tom
your
Sox.
score.
Sees them
Newmarket
stick
2,
with the same score line,
Charlottesville
2-1. So Tim Lawson will exit the game after 3 innings pitched. Do you want to take us through his final line, Daniel?
Sure thing. So he goes 3 innings, allows 2 hits on 2 earned runs, and walks 1, strikes out 6. He did have the balk, though, which I'm not exactly sure if you can tabulate that as a walk officially, but worth mentioning. But again, he does eclipse that season high of 5 strikeouts, gets up to 6, and now it's time for a new Tom Sock here, Ian White.
Yeah, Ian White out of Eastern Carolina University helped them win the American Athletic Conference tournament and making the NCAA regional against Florida, so probably a little bit of maybe bad blood between him and Brock Clayton, who he's pitching to on the mound, not really sure, but ranked as the number 11 player and number 3 right-handed pitcher in the Pennsylvania class of 2024, and a really good season. as a Pirate of Eastern Carolina, with 16 games played and a 3.60 ERA.
Yeah, this is a guy who you don't exactly know what you're getting here in summer ball, but a little bit of a limited sample size, but a 3.60 ERA and 10 innings pitched. He was able to strike out just as many hitters as he was walking, 11 strikeouts to 9 walks, but ultimately hitters were only hitting 200 versus him. So he enters in a spot that's relatively calm. His team just down by 1, but he gets to face 5, 6, 7 in the order.
Brings up Blaine Waltmeyer in his first at bat, had a sac fly RBI. As we already have a little bit of a mound visit.
Yeah, Brock Clayton walked to the dugout, and now he's back.
Sounds like he may have been overheating a little bit. But looks like we are about ready to play.
Okay. So here's what happened. So Lee Sowers is now in the game playing second base. They have Jackson Soroy at short, and they moved Preston Gamster to third base. So Hudson Luderman is out of the game. Now, we don't exactly know why, but it can be inferred, given how hot it is out there, that it could be a preventative thing related to the heat. But nonetheless, a little bit of defensive shifting here as White makes his Tom Sox debut.
So Sowers out of North Carolina in second base, as the first pitch from Ian White is a ball. Yeah, a little bit of a power shift, but all good as we are back playing baseball, and shade is starting to cover CHO Airport Field. Ian White's second pitch as a Tom Sock is another ball, 2-0. We were out here pretty early, Daniel, and in the heat of the day, around 3 or 4 p.m., and it was feeling like 105. And that was absolutely zero exaggeration, as Ian White still unable to locate the zone, ball 3.
Yeah, I think the last time we were on the headsets together, I was talking about waiting for the true Virginia summer heat, and I think now we found it. Just, I don't know how the people out here deal with it sometimes.
Waltmeyer blasts that one into left field, back at the wall, and it hits off the wall. Waltmeyer gets himself to second standing up, and he crushed that one. Not only just unable to track it, but got it back in time to only let Waltmeyer get a double.
Just a good piece of hitting here from Waltmeyer. He just goes the other way with it, and no chance for Nunnally to really make that catch. So some early trouble for White as he now deals with his second batter as a member of the Tom Sox.
And that would be John Dobkowski, the Rebels catcher. White will deal. Dobkowski shows bunt. Bunts it foul, 0-1. A lot of guys on this Tom Sox team that have had, or even as recently as last season, had regional experience in the NCAA. Something that you really like to see. They know how to play in big games. As White throws a wild pitch, and Waltmeyer will advance to third. Clayton, normally pretty good at stopping it from going to the backstop, was not able to get to that one in time. And I don't blame him. That one had some velo.
Yeah, it looked like a slider that just kind of curled away, and you're right. Clayton has been a breath of fresh air back there. His defense has been really solid, but that one just a wild pitch.
The 1-1 nearly hits Dobkowski, as he will take a little mental walk after that one. Count moves to 2-1 here in the top of the fourth. White will uncork to Dobkowski. Swing and a miss. Count evens at 2-2. White starting to find his rhythm with a runner on third base with no outs on the board. The 2-2. Swung on and hit to Soroy, who throws over to Shadle in time, but not before Blaine Waltmeyer comes home to score. 3-1 Rebels lead 1 out on the board.
Yeah, that wild pitch really cost White there, but a nice play by Soroy. Not an easy play. He has to backhand it, able to make a strong throw to retire Dubkowski. That at least puts a out on the board and empties the bases here for Jack Johnson.
Johnson struck out in his first plate appearance against Tim Lawson. White deals, and it's a little high for ball 1. So again, the score is now 3-1 as Blaine Waltmeyer scores while John Dubkowski was being put out. The 1-0, another wild pitch. Luckily, no runners on bases to advance as Jesus Cesari and the Rebels ball boy raced to that one. The ball boy won, but Jesus Cesari was able to collect the ball. The 2-0 from Ian White. Swung on and just fouled, couldn't quite catch the third base line. And Jack Johnson will come on back to the batter's box. Ian White really needs to get some confidence booster here. He's down 2-1 in this count, looking to even it up here. Swing and a miss. He had Johnson reaching.
I mean, that slider is just nasty. It looked like it was going to hit the outer half of the plate. By the time it gets into Clayton's glove, it's in the other batter's box.
The 2-2. Swing and a miss. Johnson will walk his way back to the dugout. 2 outs on the board now for the Rebels, and that brings up Noah Avey, who was hit by Tim Lawson last time up. Man, when that ball comes off of the hand of Ian White, it really is popping into Clayton's glove. I'd love to see what it's coming out to on the radar. The first pitch to Avey is outside for a ball.
Yeah, and most of these Tom Sox pitchers are reliably fastball slider, but there's a couple exceptions that have curveballs, but I mean, you see the fastball there, but White's slider so far in the early goings, Landon, has a lot of movement on it.
Evens the count at 1-1. White taking on Noah Avey. Lefty against righty. The 1-1. Chopped into the glove of White. He tosses it over to Shadle, and that will end the inning. Rebels get 1 run, but the Tom Sox end it there. 3-1. They trail. Back here at CHO Airport Field for the bottom of the 4th. So Hudson Luderman is out. That makes Lee Sowers in for him. He was batting now. First pitch to Sowers. as umpire will come jogging over to the mound for ball 1.
Yeah, Sowers will now take that 5 spot, something that he's not quite, we haven't seen him hit this high in the order, but a really limited sample size for him. He's still chasing his first hit as a Tom Sock, but this is only at bat number 6 for him.
Sowers out of North Carolina, went to Freeman High School in Glen Allen, Virginia. Still chasing his first hit as a Tom Sock. He's up in this count though, 2-0. Swung on and hit to left field. Coming over is Waltmeyer, and that one drops for a base hit. Just barely stayed in, and Lee Sowers will collect his first hit as a Tom Sock. A stand-up double.
Well, there the announcer's jinx kind of works in reverse order there. This ball looked like it was just going to go foul. I think Sowers off the bat, he thought that one was going to go out of play as well, but a nice job there by Lee, and he's on base for the first time.
A good chop. Almost looked like a little pop-up, but it kind of curved. I would bet a lot of money that it really just hit the third baseline, and that's how it stayed in. As that brings up Brock Clayton. He pops the first one behind him, foul. So this is the first time that the Tom Socks have had an extra bases hit today, and with no outs on the board, it's really promising. The tying run comes to the home plate, and Brock Clayton, the 0-1. Brock Clayton crushes that one to center field. Going back at the wall is Kelly, and he makes the grab. Lee Sowers will run to third, and he gets there in time. Brock Clayton unleashed that one off his bat, unable to get it out over the 365 area of center field, but advances Sowers to third, and now the runner in scoring position is 90 feet from the plate.
Yeah, it's going to be Soroy, who's already been on today with a walk, and that's just Clayton getting unlucky there. He hits it to the deepest part of the park, but productive as to move Sowers over to third.
First pitch to Soroy is high for ball 1. We saw that a lot yesterday at Culpeper. Back-to-back hits that literally hit the top of the fence and bounced the other way. The 1-0 to Soroy. He crushes that one up in the air. Popped up as Waltmeyer comes over to grab it. He lets it drop foul. A bit of a interesting play.
Well, this is a really smart play, and I'll tell you why. He almost hits it in the same spot to where Sowers hit it to lead off this inning, Landon, but I don't exactly know how you have the guts, if you're Waltmeyer, to just let this ball drop, because he ended up making the right decision because that ball was foul, but if he lets it go fair, then everything just goes wrong.
The 1-1 to Soroy is low for ball 2. What did you say earlier today? You're always going to come to a baseball game and see something you haven't seen before.
Yep.
Well, that's something I have not seen before.
It's interesting. Rebels got the infield in here.
The 2-1. Soroy crushes that one into shallow left. Sowers will come home. Looked like Soroy really took advantage of the infield playing in. He just had to loop it over the dirted area. An easy RBI for him.
Yeah, I was going to say, Landon, let's see if Soroy can just hit it right over the heads of these infielders, because if infield was back, there's a better chance that ball is at least batted down. But instead, he lifts it over the shortstop, and now we got a 3-2 ball game.
Up comes Tanner Shadle. We saw him put in an insurance home run yesterday. Sox down by just 1 now as Shadle pops that one up into the air. And Dubkowski thought about trying to chase it, unable to retrieve it. Count just goes to 0-1. So it's Soroy on base, Shadle up to the batter's box. Sox only have 1 out on the board, and the score being 3-2. A favorable position as Scheifert steals. Shadle, same as the first one, popped over the fence, and strike 2 comes.
TomSox.org/sponsorships to find out how.
Shadle out of Old Dominion University. The 0-2. He hits that one in the right field. An easy catch made by Dobkowski, and Soroy able to get back to first. That one had the look of one that would drop, and Dobkowski made the catch really near his midsection, honestly.
Yeah, that ball wasn't too far from where Shadle hit it the first time, but this time the right fielder, Dobkowski, just a little bit better position. Soroy might have been moving on that pitch, trying to do a little hit and run.
That brings up Perry, the right-handed hitter. The 0-1 as he took that one. If you couldn't catch his walk-up song, it was a good old Phineas and Ferb intro song, a great show of the early 2010s. So the throw over to Soroy is unable to tag him. The 0-1 coming to Perry. Inside for ball one.
Soroy's got a pretty big lead over there, but with 2 outs, it's going to have to be a hit and run again. Ooh.
Wow. Oh, man alive. That one hit Hargett right on the helmet, or on the back of the neck, as he said. He will jog over to first base. That is a great sign. Really dangerous pitch there from Scheifetz, and man, we're lucky that he is still able to get to first base.
Yeah, thankfully this looked like an off-speed pitch from Scheifetz here, as that's going to be the end of his day, as they didn't want to face Langley with 2 on, but Jim Darren, one of the assistants who really is kind of the head trainer of this Tom Sox staff, is going to walk over to just make sure that Perry's okay. He didn't fall down. It looked like he was just kind of shaking his head a bit, but anytime anyone even faces a pitch up in that area, it's scary.
Wow, that was, we've seen a lot of hit-by pitches this season. That one was the closest that we've seen to a headshot, as there's still a meeting going on at first base, and we'll take a quick break and step aside. Jason Scheifetz's day has come to an end. In steps Wyatt Land out of UGA, a dog here on Dog in the Park Day. Junior out of Bishop, Georgia, majoring in psychology. He's played 3 games for the Newmarket Rebels, pitching in just over 6 innings and a 7.10 ERA with 12 strikeouts and 5 earned runs. So fairly decent for the Valley League. Land will look to continue Scheifetz's fairly good day. He only let in 2 runs, but held the Sox scoreless in half of his innings.
Yeah, Scheifetz is still responsible for the 2 runners on base here, as it's going to be Soroy on second, and there's a pinch runner in for Hargett. So that's now 2 Tom Sox who have been taken out of the game in the first not even 4 innings. Believe that's Cole Cleveland over there getting loose. So they'll have Cleveland at first and Soroy at second. And unless the Tom Sox want to use another man on their bench, that means Cleveland will probably play center.
just something that you do not want to see. I mean, you understand that with how hot it is today, something like what happened to Luderman is going to happen, but you never want to see somebody get hit like how Perry Hargett got hit. As that one brings up top of the order, Kyle Langley will face off against Wyatt Land. First pitch to Langley is outside for ball 1. So a little reset. Soroy's on second. Cole Cleveland is pinch running for Perry Hargett on first base, and Kyle Langley is in the batter's box. The tying run in Soroy. The 1-0 in the zone for strike 1.
There's a big chance for Langley here. Represents the go-ahead run at first. See if he can cash in the tying run at second.
The 1-1 to Langley. That one dips into the zone for strike 2. Wyatt Land asserting himself here early, looking to strike out the side. The 1-2 from Land. Down into the dirt for ball 2. Soroy looked like he was jumping and eager to go. Checked himself and decided not to. 2-2. Now the count.
It's worth noting, this is the guy you want at the plate. Langley is hitting .429 with 2 outs. He's got 3 hits and 7 at-bats.
Clutch. The 2-2. Outside. Runs the count full. As we now have a dog in the press box. It is Midge, as we showed earlier. The 3-2. Payoff pitch from Wyatt Land to Kyle Langley. Langley swings and hits that one foul. Staying alive, staying alive, staying alive. As aforementioned, Langley is a good hitter, a great hitter when there are 2 outs on the board. Can he become an even better hitter here? The 3-2. Langley hits that one, fouled off again into the parking lot.
Was brought to you by Taylor's Auto
A swarm of kids going to get that ball. I don't know if they'll beat the record of what we saw yesterday with, I believe that was 13 from the kid in Culpeper.
Yeah, there's a kid during the doubleheader who reportedly, unconfirmed, caught 13 foul balls over the course of at least 1 game.
The payoff pitch again. Inside for ball 4. Bases loaded for the Tom Sox with 2 outs on the board. Good, smart batting there from Kyle Langley. Wyatt Land in his first at bat walks the Duke. Bringing up Preston Gamster, the Horned Frog, with a bases loaded situation. The tie run 90 feet away from the plate. First pitch is low and goes down as ball 1.
This is only his second at bat with the bases loaded here. He was 0 for 1, and he's been a little bit quiet lately. We haven't seen him hitting like we normally do, but this is a huge opportunity with the go-ahead run in scoring position.
The 1-0 to Gamster. Down low again, ball 2. We saw it yesterday. The Tom Sox let Culpeper get the bases loaded, and then a series of walks allowed Culpeper to get a 6-run 4th inning. Could we see something in the Tom Sox favor today? The 2-0 to Gamster. Inside for ball 3. 1 ball away from tying this ball game up. Pressure on for Wyatt Land. A real hitter's count here for Preston Gamster. What will he do with it? The 3-0. Outside for ball 4, and we've got a tie game here in Charlottesville. Jackson Soroy comes home to score.
Well, on a hot day, it hasn't been the loudest crowd, but this is definitely a moment to celebrate. The Tom Sox did not start off this inning in the best way, as they had 2 outs, and then Hargett got hit, but now 2 straight have reached, and now the bases loaded for James Nunnally.
Nunnally so far today was caught stealing and popped out to first base. The first pitch to him is in the ground for ball 1. Very close to completing a cycle here in the 4th inning, as We have now gone through 7 of the 9 Tom Sox batters. The 1-0 to Nunnally. Nearly hits him. And here comes a Tom Sox runner. He gets in safe. Cole Cleveland gifts the Tom Sox the lead. Just great base running. Great awareness there from the FIU man. Preston Gamster will advance to second. Kyle Langley advances to third. The Tom Sox have a lead after trailing 2-0 and 3-1. 2 balls to James Nunnally. 2 outs on the board. Make that 3 balls. Another hitter's count for the Tom Sox, and it is looking very favorable.
There's nobody up in that Newmarket pen. That could change here on a 3-0 count. If I'm Nunnally, I got a big red light here.
The 3-0. Down in the zone for strike 1. Wyatt Land gets on the board. Bases no longer loaded after Cole Cleveland advanced home on a wild pitch. The 3-1 to James Nunnally. Outside for ball 4. Bases chocked full yet again. We've now reached the 9th batter of the order. 9th batter of this inning, and Andrew Manley. And finally, we have a mound visit from the Newmarket Rebels coach.
Yeah, given that there's no one up in the pen, this is just the pitching coach, so I'm not sure what your message here is, but you have 2 outs, but with Manley at the plate, this is probably the last hitter in the Tom Sox order you want to face, but now that Cleveland scored, that can close the book on Scheifetz's day. So he goes 3 2/3 innings, allows 3 hits, gives up 4 runs, all of them earned, walks 2, and strikes out 0. Credit to the Tom Sox so far. They've always put the ball in play here in this one versus Newmarket.
We talked about it pregame. This Tom Sox lineup is filled with guys that are able to get their bat on the balls and put it into play or over the fences. And talk about a guy that could do so here with a bases loaded situation. Tom Sox up 4-3. Manley pops a foul for strike 1, but he is a guy that could easily get home 1 or 2 runs here.
Now batting, it's the right fielder, number 40, Andrew Manley.
Wyatt Land gets on the board first, and this at bat has walked 3 straight Tom Sox. The 0-1 finds the zone for strike 2. 1 strike away from retiring Manley and retiring the side after the Tom Sox so far have put up a 3 spot in the bottom of the 4th.
Well, this is Manley's first opportunity with him loaded this season, but with runners on, a 583 average. That's all that needs to be said.
Near 600 is an absurd number. The 0-2 from Manley. Into the dirt for ball 1. Staying alive. Looking to increase that 583 average. Wyatt Land looking to avoid walking 4 straight batters after coming in with 2 outs on the board. The 1-2 nearly hits Manley. Evens the count. Trying to instill that dog in himself coming from the University of Georgia. Unable to do so yet. Land will deal. Manley swings and misses. And the Newmarket Rebels escape what was a disastrous inning and could have turned into worse. Tom Sox lead 4-3.
Left on base after 4 innings.
enter the top of the 5th, and bit of a surprise, Perry Hargett is still in at center field after taking that ball to the back of the neck and being pinch ran for by Cole Cleveland. So that's pretty courageous, but also you really hope that it's the right decision, as he was taken out to be looked at.
Yeah, and it is interesting. I wasn't aware of that rule until now, Landon, but Hargett back in the game. Cleveland did score on that wild pitch, but he looked to be okay when he got hit, you know, thankfully. But back in center field, and Cleveland has that capability to play out there, but they decided that Perry was okay, and he's back out there.
Something a platypus would do, right?
Yeah.
Perry staying in center field, as up to bat for the Newmarket Rebels is Brennan Peterson. Feels like it's been a long time since the Newmarket Rebels have been at bat. Ian White still dealing on the mound for the Tom Sox. First pitch is into the dirt, skips and hits the backstop. Ball 1.
You see Jesus Cesare staring down the Rebels ball boy as he goes to fetch that one.
No short of fun with Jesus Cesare, as White deals the 1-0. Swing and a miss. Peterson dealing some really, really good stuff on the mound, as we checked with our analytics guy. 3,000 RPM on those sliders, Daniel.
Yeah, he's going to be around the high 80s on that fastball, but that slider, 3,000 RPMs, that means it's spinning, and that is why it's moving so much.
The 1-1 is swung on and hit by Peterson. A good catch there on the run by Andrew Manley to get the first out of the game. You can hear the appreciation from Coy Tomlin somewhere in the stands. We are all appreciative of Andrew Manley.
Coach Coy, one of the most vocal voices in this Tom Sox team, and cheering on Andrew for a nice play out there and right.
Adamantly watching the College World Series earlier today, as a former Tom Sock, Dean Mijos, hit a home run for Coastal Carolina, as White deals the ball first. Unfortunately, Coastal Carolina was unable to complete the comeback, and LSU swept the best-of-3 series to get themselves their 8th national championship in baseball. The 1-0 from White. Low for ball 2. Up now for the Rebels is Jonathan Mallow, who got on base by Ball's first inning and struck out the second. The 2-0 to Mallow. Finds the zone for a strike. They should call him Marshmallow. It's spelled the exact same way. I wonder if that's a nickname for him. The 2-1 to Mallow. Swung on and chopped over the glove of White. A turning throw to Shadle is good for the second out of the day this inning. Wow. An incredible acrobatic athletic play from Jackson Soroy. Spinning and throwing to Tanner Shadle to get Jonathan Mallow out.
Center fielder Logan Kelly.
Yeah, I have no words for that. I mean, they played the Sports Center music, and rightfully so. I mean, that's like a prime Elvis Andrus play out there from Jackson Soroy at short.
White dealing now to Logan Kelly, who singled and flew out in his 2 at-bats. Not sure if we'll see a more athletic play today than what we just witnessed. The 1-0 goes to 2-0 as White deals that one into the dirt. I mean, there was the one a couple weeks ago, or a couple games ago, from James Nunnally, a diving play out in left field that could combat Soroy, as that one is popped up and over the press box for strike 1. So 2 outs on the board now for the Rebels. Looking to even the score as they find themselves down 4-3 after the Tom Sox put up a 3 spot. The 2-1 into the dirt for ball 3. As the umpire the no fun zone, apparently.
He decided to pick that one up instead of Jesus or the Bat Boy for Newmarket.
3-1 coming from Ian White. Can't find the zone, and that'll be a balk, sending Logan Kelly to first base.
Right fielder
Brings up
Mike
Dobkowski, who singled in his first at-bat in the first inning, struck out in the top of the third. Now with a runner on first and 2 outs on the board, he'll be looking to get on base yet again as he cracks that one towards Sowers. He throws it over to the first and gets the out. Quick inning for the Tom Sox as they will go into the bottom of the 5th, where Daniel Stein will take over play-by-play duties. Tom Sox lead 4-3.
Bottom of the 5th inning about to get underway here at the CHO. It's Bark in the Park night as the sun begins to set, and finally we get some relief from the sweltering heat here as Lee Sowers gets ready to dig in. His Tom Sox up 4-3 as number 5 will lead off inning number 5 as Wyatt Land returns to the mound. The right-hander gets ready to face Sowers. Doubled in his first at-bat. He takes first pitch up and away for ball 1. Land, the right-hander, stands at 6'3", 195, previously mentioned from UGA, into his first full inning of work here as he faces the UNC man Sowers. Fastball nicks the corner for strike 1 to even the count at 1 apiece.
And that double from Lee Sowers was his first hit in Charlottesville, looking to get his second.
Here's the 1 ball, 1 strike count to Sowers as off speed misses below the zone to make it 2-1. Sowers, of course, part of that UNC team that won the ACC tournament. They hosted a regional, went pretty deep into the tournament this season. Hit .357 his limited action for the Tar Heels this spring, and he hits a high drive into right field. Back goes Dobkowski near the wall. That ball is off the top of the wall. Sowers racing into second. He's got a leadoff double. He's got 2 hits now in his 2 at-bats since replacing Hudson Luterman. And the Sox are in business here.
Something about that UNC blue. Sowers just racing across the bags, and man, he crushed that one. That's now 3 or 4 hits in the last couple of games that we thought were gonna get over the fence for a home run, and just barely hit the wall.
So here's Brock Clayton, who digs in 0 for 2. He's got a couple of flyouts to Logan Kelly out there in center field, but now he's got a runner in scoring position here, as he did last time he was up. First pitch to the former Florida man, misses inside. Clayton, a native of Gulf Breeze, Florida, around the Pensacola area up in the Panhandle. Didn't play at all for Florida this past season, but he was a highly recruited catcher out of high school. Here's the 1-0 to him, and Clayton chases after the high fastball to even the count. Clayton, this will be at-bat number 15 for him. He came into this game batting 167 in his limited at-bats for the Tom Sox. The lefty's got a chance to bring in an insurance run here with the speedy Sowers on second. Here's the pitch from Land, and Clayton lines it up the middle, but caught by the shortstop Peterson, and he steps on the bag and completely changes the trajectory of this inning with a double play.
Wow. I mean, that ball couldn't have been hit any more perfectly to Peterson. He was literally in stride to second base as he's catching that ball, and he just jogged his way over. Sowers had no chance to react.
Tough luck for the Tom Sox as Jackson Soroy, the UVA man, checks in for at-bat number 3. He's reached both times with an RBI single in his last at-bat in the 4th. Soroy, who started at second base tonight and is now playing short, looks to rekindle something here in the bottom of the 5th. He takes one inside for ball 2. Soroy at about 22 at-bats for UVA this past season. He hit .227 with a home run and 4 RBIs. He lines the third pitch foul. Nice catch there by James Nunnally off the screen, but this is not banana ball, so Soroy will keep playing. 2-1, 2 outs. Tom Sox ahead 4-3 here in the bottom of the 5th. Land comes set and deals out of the stretch. That one runs inside, backs off Soroy, and it's 3-1.
So in banana ball, if you catch your own teammate's foul ball, does that mean your teammate's out?
Not quite. I'm not exactly 100% sure on all the rules in banana ball because there's so many, but I know if you catch a foul ball, if a fan does, then that batter is out. Here's a 3-1 to Soroy. Slider misses outside, and Jackson has worked his second walk of the night. Puts a man on here for Tanner Shadle.
Something that we've really seen out of the Tom Sox tonight is really smart batting, patient batting. 3 straight walks into the top of the 4th to bring home some runs, and then you just see now able to get on base in a 2-out situation with smart batting by Jackson Soroy.
So here's Tanner Shadle, the rising sophomore out of Old Dominion. The righty will stand in. Soroy with a big lead over there at first. Shadle takes outside for a ball. He's 1 for 2 on the night with an RBI single that took place back in the 2nd, but he's hit the ball hard both times. 4th inning, he lined out to Mike Dobkowski in right field. There's the 1-0 pitch from the righty Land. There goes Soroy. Here's a pop-up into shallow right. Dobkowski charging in, and he settles under it to make the catch. So that ends what looked to be a promising first inning, but the double play really stopped things. We're moving to the 6th here. Tom Sox ahead over Newmarket, 4-3. Getting started here in the 6th inning. Your Tom Sox ahead 4-3 as Ian White returns for his 3rd inning of work here. He's got 1 run to work with, but he's got to face 4, 5, 6 in the order for a Newmarket team that has struggled at the plate all season long, but this is a Charlottesville team that has been winning some very narrow games as of late.
Yeah, you talk about the won in 11 innings, a 7-6 victory in Waynesboro, winning a game that was pretty tight until Tanner Shadle's 2-run home run in the first game at Culpeper yesterday. They've been able to squeak some out, but it's been because of good defense, and that starts on the mound.
So here's Matt Murphy, who will face White for the first time. He's 0 for 2 with a pair of strikeouts. First pitch from the right-hander has popped up. This will go behind us here in the press box for an early strike one.
Yeah, you talk about this 4-5-6 order. The only threat really in this order is Blaine Waltmeyer, who sac flied an RBI and was able to get a standing double and eventually advance to third.
Swing and a miss on the slider out of the right hand of White, and it's 0-2. Murphy, a rising junior, plays his college ball at Salem Community College up in New Jersey. He's been fantastic. Hit .413 his freshman campaign, .319 his sophomore. Slider misses outside for ball number 1, but turned on the power in 2025, hitting 6 home runs, good enough for 60 RBIs, and if that wasn't impressive enough, he also stole 27 bags. 1-2 count here from White to Murphy. Slider has popped up. Brock chasing it, but this will go past the fence and hit off of the batting cage out there in shallow right.
Foul ball to the concession stand in exchange for a prize.
Yeah, Matt Murphy, a loaded stat line from Salem Community College. You see that a lot.
1-2 count. White out of the wind to Murphy. Slider misses outside to make things even 2-2. Sun beginning to set here. We can see the beginnings of the sunset out there in the center. A nice night here, although the temperature's been high. There's a 2-2 misses upstairs. That runs things full.
That slider is really cutting. Just trying to get it so that it lands just outside of the strike zone and enough that Matt Murphy will want to chase it.
Full count here, White to Murphy. A little blooper in the shallow center. Hargett's going to run in. He slides and makes the catch. Nice job by Perry, showing that platypus-like agility, and there's one away here in the 6th.
The smooth slide and slide cancel to be able to instantly stand up if he were to have to throw that ball, but very cool, calm, and collected catch.
Brings Blaine Waltmeyer to the plate. He's had a solid game so far. Had a sac fly and then a double in the 4th inning. The lefty digs in for at-bat number 3 against White, swings through the fastball, and is behind the count 0-1. You know, for how warm it is, this is a really impressive crowd here. I know it is a Sunday and not exactly a school night as we are in June, but all those people positioned near the high school out there, they came prepared. They got their tents, they brought their canopies. Now at the sun setting, they won't be as needed, but I'm sure they also brought a lot of water too.
For the dogs and themselves.
1-1 fastball misses up and away. And it's 2-1 against Waltmeyer.
Quite a good amount of dogs actually here. You know, it is a good night, and dogs love being outside. Yeah, it's really the epitome of an American night. Baseball under the lights, some dogs, some hot dogs. It's good.
All we're missing is like an apple pie or something, and then got the American flag out there in right field. Here's a 3-1 from White. That's on the inside corner to run it full.
Waltmeyer seemed a little confused on that call, but collects himself and gets ready for the next pitch.
White able to bring it full here in this at-bat. Clayton sets up on the outside corner. Here's the full count. Waltmeyer grounds it down the first base line foul. Waltmeyer, as we mentioned, has been excellent with Penn State Harrisburg in his 3 years there. He's a D3 All-American, and then they hosted a regional up in Harrisburg, capital of Pennsylvania, this spring. When you think of Penn State baseball, you don't necessarily think of Harrisburg, but here we are as Waltmeyer fouls one back.
One of the many satellite schools up there in College Park.
It's a full count here with 1 out. White against Waltmeyer with 1 away in the inning. Tom Sox up by 1. Here's the pitch. Waltmeyer swings and misses. Good work from White. You can see that late tail on the fastball there. He picks up strikeout number 2, and there are 2 away here in the 6th.
Got two.
Catcher,
We'll bring up John Dobkowski here. Dobkowski coming into this game, hitting .286 on the season, 6 hits and 5 RBIs. Also has a stolen base as well. First pitch to Dobkowski, a slider that Clayton couldn't successfully frame for home plate umpire Eric Carmona.
As a stray bullpen ball comes over towards the batter's box and safely thrown away by Jack Johnson.
1-0 count here, righty-righty matchup between White and Dobkowski. Second pitch, a fastball, just misses off the outside corner. Dobkowski, a freshman out of Bellevue, Florida, plays his college ball at Enterprise State Junior College. He's ahead in the count here, 2-0. That goes behind him. We've already seen a couple of batters hit in this game, but thankfully Dobkowski able to get out of the way. But he's ahead in the count, still 3-0.
So him and his brother both play at Enterprise State College. Pretty cool to see. Brothers sticking together.
Here's a 3-0 pitch, up and in. That is ball 4. Dobkowski works a 2-out walk. That will put the tying run on first here for Jack Johnson. There is somebody up in the Tom Sox bullpen, as there was someone also up in the Newmarket pen. And now Randy Tomlin will look like he'll make the call here.
A good outing from Ian White. He was spinning it pretty well early. Lost a little bit of his luster here in this inning, but a couple of scoreless innings for the Eastern Carolina man.
And so that is going to end Ian White's first outing here for the Tom Sox. He's still responsible for that runner on second, but otherwise a pretty solid outing from the Indiana commit. Dawson Newman into the game to relieve him, and we will take a quick break and come back when Newman is ready to go to finish off the inning. So Ian White's night is done. Dawson Newman in relief, but White, although he is responsible for that runner on first, had a pretty decent first outing.
Yeah, 2 2/3 with a hit, 1 walk, and 2 strikeouts. Could have potentially 1 run, potentially 2, depending on if the runner at first scores.
First pitch from Dawson Newman to Jack Johnson, misses below the zone for a ball. Newman on the season has a .432 ERA and just over 8 innings of work. Former Coastal man in the portal now. Second pitch to Johnson, swung on and cut through. Johnson in this game, 0 for 2 with a couple of strikeouts. Now gets to face his third different pitcher in the 3 at-bats. Third pitch, slider leaks inside with John Dubkowski on first.
That can't be easy for a batter, having to face 3 different pitchers in your first 3 at-bats. You can't figure them out as you would if you were facing them multiple times.
Swing and a miss on the fastball. Looked like a 2-seamer there with some outside run to it. And it's 2-2 here. Dobkowski on first, 2 outs. Tom Sox protecting a 1-run lead. Newman kicks and fires. Fastball in the other batter's box to run it full. Noah Avey waits on deck. Dobkowski will be on the move here. Newman deals. That misses below the zone. It's a 2-out walk. Now puts that tying run in scoring position here for Noah Avey. So Newman not quite what he wanted here. But now he gets the platoon matchup with Avey, who bats lefty. Avey in this game 0 for 1 with a hit by pitch. And a big spot here for the Rebels. It's a Rebels team that didn't score 2 runs in its last 2 games combined. Here they are now with 3 here against the Sox. First pitch to Avey misses for a ball.
You're bound to get some runs eventually. The Tom Sox just need to make sure that by the end of it all, they have more runs than the other team does.
There's a right-hander warming up in the Newmarket pen. But for now, Avey hits a knuckling ground ball to second, but it goes under the glove of Sowers, and everybody moves up 90 feet. That ball, if it leaked into the outfield, it surely would have scored Dubkowski over at third, but instead he puts on the brakes, and that loads the bases. Boy, that would have surely ended the inning. But now, that puts Peterson up to the plate with the bases loaded.
An unfortunate scenario there, and it's been a while since we've seen that out of Charlottesville. There were a pair of games where we saw it a bunch. It's the first real error that we've seen tonight.
First pitch from Newman on the outside corner for strike 1. Peterson in this game 0 for 2 with the fly out and the line out. He's hit the ball to the outfield in both of his at-bats. Newman now back out of the windup. Here's the 0-1, swung on and missed, and it's 0-2. With Dawson, I think he uses speed to his advantage. He's a guy who just will wind up and throw about as quick as they come. As Peterson's going to take some time to get a better grip on his bat. Peterson came into this game hitting 185 on the season. In a big spot here, but Newman with the advantage. Here's the 0-2 from Dawson. Here's a ground ball to short. Soroy gloves it over to second. Sowers puts the squeeze on it, and Newman works his way out of the jam. Nice work there by the Tom Sox, able to leave him loaded. We'll go to the bottom of the 6th. Charlottesville ahead of Newmarket, 4-3.
Batter 3 men.
bottom 6 here as Perry Hargett comes to the plate. 9-1-2 due up for the Tom Sox as they lead the Rebels 4-3. Daniel Stein alongside Landon Weaver for this one as Trey Gouch into the game, the third different noodle for the Rebels. This one, Gouch 6'3", 205 at a James Madison. Didn't play in his lone season for the Dukes, but he's pitched just over 8 innings for the Rebels so far, and he holds a 5.40 ERA. Hargett will dig in after getting hit by that pitch in the 4th inning. Here's the first pitch from Gouch, and Hargett behind on the fastball, 0-1 count.
And we'll put a book on Wyatt Land's day. An inning and a third with 1 hit, no runs, no errors, but 4 walks and a strikeout.
Here's the second pitch from Gouch to Hargett. Foul tips that one straight back, and Hargett in the hole here, 0-2.
Gouch, very good in high school, was a 2-time second-team All-Region out of Deep Run High School, playing in the 2 of the top classes in Virginia in Class 5 and 6.
Here's the 0-2 from Gouch. Hargett takes one just off the outside corner.
And baseball definitely runs in the blood, as his father, Barry Gouch, played baseball at Virginia Tech from 1995 all the way through 1999.
See what his son Trey can do here. Ahead in the count, 1-2 against Perry Hargett. Curveball waved and missed. Hargett tagged out before he can make his way over to first on the drop third, and there's one away here. Brings Kyle Langley back up to the plate for at-bat number 4. 4th time through the order here for these Tom Sox. They got 4 runs officially off the starter, Scheifetz. And Wyatt Land was the pitcher in the game for a lot of those runs, but they were charged ultimately to the starter as Langley swings and misses. But now here with Gouch, they're just trying to put one in play. Langley, the rising junior, waits on an 0-1 from Gouch. That ball just below the zone for ball 1. Langley, a Virginia kid, he's from Arlington. A guy who started all 52 games he played in his most recent season at JMU, where he hit 247 and had 23 RBIs. Here's the 1-1 from Gouch. It's a good curveball there that Langley wasn't ready for, and it's 1-2.
When you think of seasoned veterans, you don't really think of a guy that's going into his junior year, but when you play over 80 games in your first 2 seasons at a Power 4 school, or
here's a ground ball to third that is booted by Jack Johnson, and by the time Peterson can get a glove on it, Langley is safely at first. We'll be interested to see how they decide to score that one, but for now, Langley wins the Battle of the Dukes, and Tom Sox have some insurance on first base.
And check me on that, the Power 4 comment. James Madison is far from a Power 4 school. Meant to say a D1 school. He's obviously one of the better or more seasoned veterans.
Here's Preston Gamster. He's got Langley on first with 1 out, and the righty takes one off the inside corner, and it's 1-0. They're going to rule it a single for Langley. Langley, of course, had that 11-game hitting streak snapped yesterday. Maybe starting a new one here today. Second pitch misses out and away to the righty Gamster. Gamster had an RBI walk back in the 4th inning. 1 of 2 free passes given to him tonight, but no hits. It's a 2-0 count, a good hitter's count here with 1 out. There goes Langley. Pitch is taken up high for a ball throw down to second, safe. Langley, the kid who swiped 16 bases with James Madison this past season, collects stolen bag number 7 here. And so now Gamster can stay out of that double play.
Very hard play there from Mallow. He basically had to jump over Langley, make the catch, then simultaneously make the tag as Langley was sliding underneath him. Not often you'll see a play made out of that spot.
3-0, Gamster takes up high, and he's got his 3rd walk of the night. So that is not the worst outcome in the world here for Gouch as it gets the double play back in order, but we will have a mound visit before James Nunnally takes the plate. So Nunnally will have a conversation with the umpires here This is a big spot here for the Tom Sox. They're only ahead by 1 run. Have not scored since that 4th inning where a run came across first on that Jackson Soroy single, then on a walk from Gamster, and then on a wild pitch that happened while James Nunnally was in the box. So this is a big spot. We talked about how the Tom Sox have played in these very close games as of late. Part of that's been their pitching has kept them in it, but also their offense hasn't quite been as deadly as we know it can be.
Yeah, we saw a lot more 8+ run games early on in the season, but they were losing. Now, more so, we've seen more 4, 5, or 6 run games, but they're winning because they're not conceding as many runs. A really sharpened defense.
Here's the first pitch from Gouch to Nunnally. That's on the outside corner for strike 1. Nunnally, the Mississippi State commit, originally at UVA. Of course, following his former head coach, still to be head coach, Brian O'Connor, to Mississippi State. Got a chance to bring in some runs here. And a 0-1 count. Gouch looks back, now fires as Langley goes, and so goes Gamster. Ball got away from the catcher, John Dobkowski, and that puts 2 runners in scoring position, so bye-bye double play. And a big spot here for the Tom Sox.
Well, James Nunnally now has a real chance at getting something going for the Tom Sox. A runner 90 feet away, a runner 180 feet away. This is promising here for Charlottesville.
That ball fouled off. So they'll score that officially as a double steal that puts runners in scoring position. Nunnally is going to trade in his bat for a new one, mid-at-bat. He fouled off that ball straight into the screen and then just tossed his bat aside.
See if this pays off. This could be a pretty interesting payoff.
Here's the 1-2, infield in. Nunnally pokes it up the middle, base hit. Here comes Langley to score. Waving home is Gamster. He will score. It does pay off. Nunnally not fooled by the curveball, and he knocks in another 2 runs. Tom Sox ahead 6-3.
I mean, like clockwork. Can I get a new bat? Can I get 2 more runs, please? Both answers are yes, and now the Tom Sox lead 6-3.
And now the soothing sounds of Quavo and Travis Scott means Andrew Manley is checking in. Manley has been pretty quiet today, 0 for 3 with a strikeout. But the lefty's got a runner on first here in Nunnally who can run. Throw back to first. Nunnally scampers back to the base.
Soothing indeed, and you know the walk-up song just really characterizes how Nunnally hits, or not Nunnally, Manley hits.
First pitch to Manley, a fastball for a strike. Manley, of course, we mentioned the dual sport athlete, but football runs in his family. His uncle Patrick was the long snapper for the Bears for the better part of 15 years. His father played college football at Notre Dame. His grandfather played college football at Georgia. Here's the 0-1. On the outside corner again, and Manley in the hole 0-2.
Not the typical day for Andrew. A couple flyouts, 1 to third, 1 to right field, and then a strikeout in his 3rd at bat.
0-2, 1 out with Nunnally on first. There he goes. Pitch out. Ball 1. Nunnally is safe. He swipes second base. Good work by James Nunnally showing off the speed. And that once again wipes out the double play. And this has been something that I think has to feel really good for the Tom Sox, as Newmarket hasn't quite been able to do this, but it felt like every team was kind of running on the Tom Sox all season long when they're in the field, but now they're giving their opponent a taste of its own medicine here. It's a 1-2 count to Manley with Nunnally on second. Manley hits one to second base. Mallow gloves it, throws over to first, and Andrews retired, but it brings Nunnally to third here with 2 outs, and it'll be up to Lee Sowers to bring in Nunnally over there at third.
Second baseman.
Yeah, a bit of a fielder's choice. Leaves, or not even a fielder's choice, but smart play to get Manley out, but Nunnally advances all the way to third, and now could be up 4 here after Sowers at bat.
So with 2 outs, here's Sowers with James on third. Curveball misses way outside for a ball. Sowers, who's doubled in his previous 2 at-bats, first down the left field line in inning number 4, and then right off the top of the wall in right center in inning number 5. What will he do here in inning number 6? Here's the 1-0 from Gouch. It's a fastball at the knees for strike 1.
He's either looking for a home run or just trying to bring home Nunnally. I feel like you can't go in between after what he's done today.
Here's the 0-1 on Lee. Now it's 1-2. Sowers, a top 150 recruit in the entire country, using the top 30 in shortstops, according to Perfect Game in the class of 24. On a 1-2, he takes one on the outside corner for strike 3. Sowers goes down looking, but not before the Tom Sox get another pair of runs on the RBI single from James Nunnally. We're heading to the 7th. Charlottesville ahead 6-3. Beginning of the 7th here at CHO Airport Field. Tom Sox expanded their lead in the bottom of the 6th from an RBI single from James Nunnally. They now lead the Newmarket Rebels 6-3 here. Dawson Newman returns to the mound for the Sox as Jonathan Mallow starts off the top of the order here for the Rebels. Lefty-lefty matchup. First pitch swung on and missed from Newman. Tom Sox trying to just ride a wave of momentum they've had since Friday. Started with a big win at Waynesboro. Mallow tries to lay down a bunt. They say he did not offer at it. It was an interesting call. There was a lot going on in that play. That ball was low and inside. It got past the catcher, Brock Clayton. But nonetheless, it's 1-1 on the Potomac State College product. Mallow. Here's a fly ball into shallow right field. Mallow slams his bat down, but it is Sowers who called off Hargett, but he can't make the catch. Into second goes Mallow. We'll see if they rule that an error or not. Maybe Sowers just lost that one in the lights, but just in a game that has seen so many bizarre outcomes, here comes another one as the Rebels get their leadoff man on.
A perfect example of playing till the whistle goes. I mean, Mallow slammed his bat in frustration as he thought that the ball was going to be easily caught by somebody in the outfield, and sure enough, the ball is dropped and he's on his way to second.
Brings up Logan Kelly to the plate. He shows bunt, pops it up, but Clayton has to let it go.
Turn that foul ball to the concession stand for a prize. A special prize.
So they will not rule that an error. They're going to rule it a double for the leadoff man, Jonathan Mallow. He's now at second base. Logan Kelly trying to bring him in against Newman with no outs. Swung on and missed, and it's 0-2.
Newman pretty consistent so far on the mound. Strikeout in his, or not a strikeout in his last inning, but you know, he calmly got him out.
Here's the 0-2. Newman strikes him out now. So just jumping the gun a little bit, Landon, as there's one out in the inning. Kelly will toss his bat to Mike Dubkowski, who will now grip it and rip it here with one out, and Mallow still on second.
The resounding sound of the foghorn whenever an opposing player gets out. One of the perks here at CHO Airport Field, thanks to our production crew over there.
First pitch from Dawson Newman misses outside to Mike Dubkowski, who's 1 for 3 in this game with a single and a strikeout. Newman comes set, that front foot slightly misaligned. Here's the second pitch. That's on the inside corner for strike 1. A 1-1 count here with one out. Mallow at second. 1-1 from Newman. Slider grounded into the ground. 1-2. Might have hit the foot of Dubkowski. There's nobody up in the Tom Sox bullpen as the sun has finally set here in Charlottesville. It is still really hot, though. 1-2. Foul tip gets out of the glove of Clayton, and we'll do it again.
Yeah, you know it's hot when we open this window so we could see clear, and you could just feel the hot air coming in, almost like steam, just rising into the press box. It was not flattering.
It's almost as if a dog is constantly panting on you.
That is a good analogy.
But makes sense for Bark in the Park Day. Newman on a 1-2. There goes the runner. That one gets out of the glove of Clayton and rolls to the backstop, so Mallow will take third easily. It's going to be 2-2 now on the 3-hole hitter Dubkowski.
Newman had some consistency early on in this at-bat, and even in the last one, but starting to lose it a little bit, and got to reel it back in here.
Here's Dawson's deal on a 2-2. Misses inside to run it full. Walk here, not the end of the world, but it would mean that the tying run would come to the plate, and that's Matt Murphy. So you want to get it out here if you can, especially when it's 2 strikes. Here's the full count from Newman. Caught him looking. Back-to-back strikeouts for Dawson, and there's 2 away here.
Talk about consistency there at the end. Perfect pitch there from Dawson Newman.
So here's Matt Murphy for at-bat number 4. So for 3 with a couple of strikeouts and a flyout. First pitch swung on and cut through by the rising junior Murphy. 0-1, Dawson working quickly. And that ball is lined and out of the outstretched glove of Shadle, and the run comes to score. 6-4 here. You couldn't hold down Murphy for that long, and he puts in a run here on the RBI single.
Very, very close to making the play was Tanner Shadle. The ball just slightly above his outstretched glove, and now you really need to get out of this inning as Waltmeyer represents the tying run at home plate. Not exactly the guy that you want in this position because of his tendency to hit home runs when he was at Penn State Harrisburg. No home runs yet for the Newmarket Rebels.
13 home runs in his career at Penn State Harrisburg, but a lefty-lefty matchup. First pitch from Newman, swung on and missed. Now you got Murphy over there at first, who has stolen 1 bag in his time this season with the Rebels, but obviously we know he can steal from his numbers at Salem Community College. Good slider there from Dawson, and it's 0-2.
Quick work from Dawson Newman, 1 strike away.
0-2 count, 2 outs. There goes Murphy. Got an easy run, but doesn't matter because Waltmeyer chases, and that will end the inning. So the Rebels do get a run on the RBI single from Murphy, but Charlottesville still ahead here 6-4.
After 6.5 innings.
Time to stretch here at CHO Airport Field as we're heading to the bottom of the 7th. A new pitcher in the game for the Rebels, who we'll talk about in a second. But first, we have dog number 2 that we'd like to introduce.
Look at that. Named rookie, nicknamed many call him CHO Airport Field, Taylor Auto Body. Just a lot of nicknames for this beautiful dog right here.
Yeah, that's KT's dog. KT is the promotions intern lead for us. As we get back to the action here with Brock Clayton leading off against Luke McGrath, the 6'1", 195-pound right-hander from JMU. So should we get to Kyle Langley, it'd be another Duke versus Duke here. But instead, McGrath gets to face Clayton. First pitch from McGrath to Brock, misses outside on the fastball. Good numbers for McGrath so far this season. He's pitched 7 innings, but no runs, and he's also struck out 11 batters. Second pitch here to Clayton. Up and away for ball 2. Clayton in this game has been quiet, 0 for 3, lined into that double play back in the 5th. It will be Clayton, Soroy, and Shadle. That will be due up in this inning. Here's the 2-0 on Clayton, and fastball up and away, kind of the similar place in all 3 of these pitches. 3-0 count. McGrath out of the stretch. Kicks and fires. Outside, it's a 4-pitch walk. Tom Sox get their leadoff man on here. Jackson Soroy, who's had a nice night, will come to the plate. He's reached in all 3 of his plate appearances. He got 2 walks and an RBI single.
And we'll put a book on Trey Gouch's day real quick. 1 inning pitched, 2 hits, 2 runs, and 2 earned runs, 1 walk, and 0 strikeouts.
Decent work there for Gouch. Now Soroy with Clayton on. Soroy squares but pulls back, and it's 1-0. McGrath yet to find the strike zone.
Feels like it's taking a lot of these new market pitchers to get into their rhythm tonight.
Can McGrath find the zone here? Soroy squares, he pulls back, gets out of the glove of the catcher, Dobkowski, but Clayton didn't end up going. It looked like he would have gotten to second safely, but John Dobkowski decided not to throw. So Soroy will dig back in with Brock still on first and nobody out. Small lead for Clayton. Soroy squares, pulls back. Ball is taken upstairs.
This is smart by Soroy, just trying to get himself an easy route to first and getting Clayton to second with no outs on the board.
That's on the corner for a strike. So Soroy will just try to put something in motion here. Clayton takes a bit of a bigger lead. Nobody out here in the bottom of the 7th. Soroy takes a called strike, and it's full, 3-2. Jackson Soroy, the UVA product, waits here on a full count. Off the plate, Soroy's got walk number 3. Good at bat there from Jackson, and there's 2 on, nobody out for Tanner Shadle.
Yet again, Soroy, smart batting. That's his 3rd walk of the day. Looking to get his 2nd run.
There's now 9 walks here for Tom Sox hitters tonight. 6 runs to show for it, not bad, but is this the beginning of a big inning here? First pitch to Shadle. It's on the outer half for strike 1. Shadle in this game had that RBI single that got the Tom Sox on the board in the 2nd, but since then he has lined out and popped out, both to Mike Dobkowski out there in right field. He's got Clayton on 2nd and Soroy on 1st and nobody out. McGrath looks back at 2nd and fires. And he hits that outside corner again, and it's 0-2 on Shadle.
trying to get Shadle to chase here, but he's doing it all himself, putting it right in that zone.
Shadle, who went deep in Waynesboro last Friday and then in game 1 of the doubleheader yesterday at Culpeper. Takes a deep breath in the hole here against Luke McGrath. 0-2. Shadle takes outside, gets away from the catcher Dobkowski, and both runners will move up. Poorly timed wild pitch. Takes the double play out of the equation and puts a pair in scoring position. Perry Hargett waits on deck. Tanner Shadle, does he have that power still in him? Infield comes in for the Rebels, or at least the middle infielders do. Peterson and Mallow at short and second, respectively. Here's the 1-2 to Shadle. Swing and a miss. The high cheese enough to retire the Tom Sox first baseman, and there's one away.
One away, but the Tom Sox have another runner 90 feet away from the bag.
So here's Perry. Still looking for his first RBI as a Tom Sock. He has 2 hits. He's got the infield in here with 1 away. First pitch to Hargett at the top of the zone for strike 1. Hargett, part of that ACC tournament winner UNC squad. He's an all-state long jumper as well. A guy who's just a great athlete in a lot of different sports. Fastball misses outside. It makes sense because his parents were both collegiate athletes. His mom played soccer and his dad played baseball, both at Montreat College out in North Carolina. Hargett, the North Carolina native. He's got an even count here, 1-1 with 1 out. Hargett takes outside and low, and it's 2-1 with the top of the order, starting with Kyle Langley on deck.
Those last 2 pitches very close to going into the dirt and sending Brock Clayton home.
Big spot here for the Tom Sox, try to expand that lead. 2-1 to Hargett. Here's a pop-up near the Tom Sox dugout. Murphy near it, but that ball will go out of play, and it's 2-2.
That foul ball was brought to you by Midge Motors. Call 1-800-GOT-MIDGE.
The 7th inning, the Tom Sox have put up 12 runs as a team, but have been outscored by their opponents 15-12. Most of their damage has come in the 4th and the 5th innings. Here's the 2-2 from McGrath to Hargett. Here's a little blooper out into right field. Is that ball fair? It is. Hargett rounding first. He will go into second. 2 runs will score. How about Perry Hargett? He's got his first hit as a Tom Sock, or he's got his first RBI as a Tom Sock, and it's 8-3.
Just a perfect hit there. Curved right onto the first base line. Very similar to what we saw early on in this game on the third base line by Lee Sowers. Now the Tom Sox have a big lead in the top of the 7th, bottom of the 7th.
They open up a 5-run lead. They got the speedy Perry Hargett over there at second. Here's another Duke versus Duke matchup. Kyle Langley, the leadoff man. Hargett thought about going. He pulls back. Langley takes ball 1. Langley's 1 for 3 with a single. He's also reached on a walk back in the 5th inning. See what Kyle can do with another runner in scoring position. McGrath looks back at second, now in and fires. Fastball inside on Kyle, and it's 2-0.
Kyle Langley has gotten on base in his last 2 at-bats, 1 by walks and 1 via a single. Looking to get Perry close to home here, or even scoring.
Hitters count, McGrath fires. On the outside corner for strike 1. Tom Sox got their first run in the 2nd from that RBI single from Tanner Shadle. They then got 3 in the 4th from a couple of walks, a single, and a wild pitch. Langley gets plunked on that one. Hargett was running the 3rd, so Langley will take first. Hargett will go back to 2nd. That puts 2 on here for Preston Gamster.
Gamster so far today has been walked 3 times after being put out in the first inning. And now we've got a mound meeting, but doesn't look like any changes are going to be coming soon.
This is going to be Gamster's 5th at-bat here. Gamster has been very quiet as of late, but this is an opportunity, and this has been the part of the lineup that has produced tonight. Gamster and Nunnally, who's due up next, have 3 RBIs respectively in this game so far. An additional run scored on that wild pitch when Nunnally was at the plate. So Gamster, the TCU shortstop, will step up to the plate here in a big spot. Gamster played his first season at TCU this past spring after spending 2 years at Paris College. He's been in Texas his whole life. He's got 2 on with 1 out. Here's the first pitch from McGrath. That ball gets out of the glove of the catcher Dobkowski, and there goes both of the runners. Now second and third, a pair in scoring position here with 1 out.
Very similar to the situation that Perry Hargett was in, where he was able to hit a 2-run RBI and get himself on second base with runners on second and third.
So score at a pass ball. Infield will come in again as Gamster is trying to break this one wide open here. 1-0 count, McGrath fires. That ball is lined into the screen foul. Gamster, who hit over 345 in both of his years at Paris, first 346, then 378 in 2024. Had 16 home runs in his 2 seasons there, as well as 39 stolen bases. But now he's in a big spot here with the bat in his hands. 1-1 from McGrath. Misses outside. Good block there from Dobkowski, who's been really put through the ringer here in this inning.
Yeah, Hargett surely would have scored there had that ball gone to the backstop.
2-1 count. The middle infielders played in on the grass. McGrath looks back at second and deals on a 2-1. Gamster takes outside. They've already walked him 3 times. Do they want to load the bases again for Nunnally? McGrath almost with that Craig Kimbrell-like stance as he comes set. Now he deals on a 3-1 to Hamster. Grounded down the third base line, and it's full. Full count here. Some of the Charlottesville fans have departed, but still a good turnout here as the Tom Sox lead by 5 here in the bottom of the 7th. Full count to Gamster. Good pitch, slider on the outside corner, freezes him. And it'll be up to James Nunnally to cash in the runners at second and third. As Nunnally walks up to Who You Foolin' by Gunna. That pitch certainly fooled Gamster.
Yeah, the Sox really want to cash these in right now. They've left a lot on base, and even though they have a 4-run lead, you can't afford to leave as many runners on base as they have tonight. 8 total.
First pitch to James Nunnally, way outside for ball 1. Nunnally's had a good day at the plate. Reached on a walk in the 4th and then cashed in 2 on the single back in the 6th. (1-0) here to James. Here's a fly ball. This should go foul as it hits the grass right next to the road. And it's 1-1.
Brought to you by Taylor's Auto Body.
Tom Sox trying to crawl back closer to 500. They come into this game at 6-10. Newmarket at 5-11. Both teams over 5 games out of first place in their respective divisions. The Tom Sox in the South and Newmarket in the North. 1-1, 2 outs. 2 ducks on the pond here for Nunnally. Ooh, and that one hits him on the shin. And Nunnally will take some time and gingerly jog over to first base to load the bases here for Andrew Manley.
Taking one for the team there. An audible grunt of discomfort by Andrew Nunnally, catching on the meat of that leg right in front. Not a pretty place to be hit.
So the second Tom Sock that's been hit in this inning, the second batter that's been hit in the last 3. And so Manley once again will have a chance here with the bases loaded.
0-4 today. He's bound to get a hit soon. A guy that's batting over 400 on the Valley Baseball League season.
Bases loaded, 2 outs. Here's the first pitch to Manley. Swung on and missed. Manley, when he came up in this spot in the 4th, he struck out. He's grounded out, flown out, popped out, and struck out. But he's got the bases loaded up here and an 0-1 count. Manley foul tips it into the catcher's glove, and it's 0-2. McGrath trying to get out of the jam and just keep the damage where it already is. 2 already in the inning. Tom Sox ahead 8-3 in the bottom of the 7th. Those 2 runs coming in on that RBI double from Perry Hargett. 0-2 from McGrath. Taken upstairs by Manley. You got Gamster at 2nd, Langley at 3rd, and Nunnally at 1st. Andrew Manley at the plate. The Tom Sox leader in hits on the season. Waits on a 1-2 and takes a curveball below the zone. Good recognition there from Andrew. And it's 2 balls, 2 strikes.
He's just waiting for that pitch, waiting for the one that he believes he can crush. With a bases loaded scenario, all you really need to do is put it in the shallow outfield.
2-2 count, 2 outs, bases loaded. Manley waits. Takes one below the zone and it's full. Runners will be on the move here as Lee Sowers waits on deck. Pivotal pitch here. Tom Sox have already put in 2 in this inning. Time is called here by home plate umpire Eric Carmona. Manley gets a chance to reset himself here. Bases juiced, 2 outs, 2 already in. McGrath comes set, takes a deep breath, and kicks and fires. Manley takes upstairs. It's an RBI walk. 9-3. So Manley does reach for the first time. 9-4, excuse me, as that brings in a run.
This is really a good opportunity for the Sox to pour it on. The second inning where they've put up at least a 3 spot. Sowers has a chance to increase that even more.
9-4 now. Tom Sox ahead by 5. As Sowers comes to the plate with the bases loaded. Sowers in this game, 2 hits and a strikeout since taking over for Hudson Luderman, who exited the game in the 4th inning. The UNC man with the bases juiced. Second pitch from McGrath right down the pipe for strike 1. Brock Clayton waits on deck. That would represent the Sox batting around here. McGrath trying to get the Rebels out of the jam. Here's the 1-1. That misses below the zone, and it's 2 balls and 1 strike. So now Manley on first, Nunnally on second, Langley on third, and Sowers at the plate. 2-1, McGrath deals. Off the plate, and it's 3-1. Rebels coach Charlie Shepard is right on the edge of that fence, feeling like if Sowers walks or worse for the Rebels, that will be it for McGrath. Here's the 3-1 with 2 outs. That's a strike to make it full. And McGrath will live to see another pitch here. He's run it full once again with the bases loaded and 2 outs. Tom Sox have already brought in 3 in this inning. They lead 9-4. Full count, McGrath fires and Sowers spoils.
Want to sponsor that foul ball? Visit tomsox.org/sponsorships to find out.
This inning
how.
started with back-to-back walks to Brock Clayton and Jackson Soroy, and Tanner Shadle struck out. Then Perry Hargett brought in a pair with a double. Since then, hit by pitch, backwards K, hit by pitch, walk. And now it's up to Lee Sowers to extend the inning. Full count, runners go. Sowers takes below the zone. Another run comes in. It is 10-4. Tom Sox ahead. And that will spell the end for Luke McGrath.
It's a beautiful, beautiful sight to see the Tom Sox being able to pour on after it seemed like they hadn't been able to do so in quite a long time.
So McGrath's night is done. The JMU product will exit and a new pitcher will come in. We will take a quick break and be back for the rest of this inning. Back here for the rest of this one. Tom Sox have the bases juiced and Brock Clayton coming up to the plate. They're ahead at 10-4. Clayton represents the winning run against Matthew Murphy, who picks up, discards his bat, and now moves to the mound here. Deals a first pitch strike to Clayton. Clayton will go out of the wind, second pitch, and Clayton drills one into right field. Going back is the right fielder, Dobkowski. He will make the catch. And the Tom Sox bring in 4, but can't end it. Clayton got a good piece, and the Tom Sox lead 10-4 after 7. inning getting started here at CHO Airport Field as the Tom Sox have broken this one open. 10-4 is where things stand here in Charlottesville. Dawson Newman returns to the mound, and first pitch to John Dobkowski swung on and missed. Dawson Newman working quickly here out of the wind. Second pitch to Dobkowski is driven the other way.
That foul ball was brought to you by First Heritage.
You know, and this is two teams that only are separated by one win. Obviously, Tom Sox 6 wins, Newmarket with 5, but apart from the first inning where Newmarket led, as you get a ground ball to the short Soroy, over to Shadle to retire the leadoff man Dobkowski. To finish that thought, Landon, it just feels like the Tom Sox have played with a certain level of confidence that speaks to them thinking that they are much better than their similar records indicate.
Yeah, look, they've won 3 out of their last 4 games, and if this game continues in the same trajectory as it has over the course of 7 innings, it'll be 4 out of 5, and that's a sign that a team is turning stuff around. And you think about all the movement that they've had in the last couple of weeks with players being inactivated, players being reactivated, activated, all of that jazz. You can't really have a consistent style of play, and now that the team is really set in its stone, set in its ways, they're able to play consistent ball, and it's really showing on both sides of the ball, offensively and defensively.
Up steps Jack Johnson to the plate here with 1 out. Newman here on a 1-2. Chopped ground ball. Will go foul once again. Newman comes set and deals. Fouled straight back.
Everybody clap your hands.
Johnson today is 0 for 2, 2 strikeouts, and walked in his last at bat.
1-2 count. Newman deals outside for a ball. Newman versus Johnson here. Lefty-righty matchup. Newman fires, swung on and cut through. Another strikeout for Dawson Newman. He's got 4 here in his outing. As it'll be up to Noah Avey to extend the inning. Can take a minute here to look at the standings in the Valley League as you see the Tom Sox in the South Division 5.5 games out, but they just took down a really good Harrisonburg team. But you see they had the same record as Woodstock, a team that the Tom Sox lost to as the first pitch misses outside, but still a lot of time for the Tom Sox to climb back up the standings.
Yeah, and you look at those, the 2 teams that are up front are way ahead of the pack. Everyone else is right at or below 500, and just like the Tom Sox. So a lot of movement will be had over the next 25 games or so, as we are 17 games into a 42-game season.
2-1 count here against Noah Avey, who is 0 for 2, or 0 for 1, I should say, with an error and a reach on an error and a hit by pitch. Now it's 2-2. As Newman just keeps going. There's nobody up in either bullpen. Newmarket down to their last strike in the inning, and Newman strikes out the final 2. He's got 5 Ks.
No runs on
And the Rebels go quietly here in the 8th. Tom Sox still ahead here, 10-4. bottom 8 here and the bottom of the order due up for the Tom Sox as they lead this one 10-4 as things starting to wrap up here at CHO Airport Field. Here's Jackson Soroy, who's reached in all 4 of his plate appearances. He's got 3 walks and an RBI single. Matthew Murphy returns to the mound here. First pitch to Soroy is drilled out to center field. Center fielder Kelly Nearing, he will make the catch, and a loud out there for Jackson to start off the 8th. But as far as around the Valley League, what's been going on here, Landon?
Well, a couple of games have gone final, including Woodstock, the River Bandits taking down the Covington Lumberjacks 6-4. Strasburg taking down Harrisonburg 13-8, and Culpeper defeating the Front Royal Cardinals 6-4. So Culpeper, after a horrific start to the season, has really come alive lately.
Be Culpeper winning 2 in a row. Second pitch to Shadle skins the zone here to make it 1-1.
Another game that went final was Winchester against Waynesboro, in which Winchester bageled Waynesboro 19-0.
Here's a drive into left field. Waltmeyer near the line makes the catch. So a couple of deep fly balls here start off the bottom of the 8th. So now Walker Buchanan will dig in. He will be pinch hitting for Perry Hargett. And he represents the last opportunity for the Tom Sox to get some insurance before the 9th inning.
The last game happening tonight is currently going bottom of the 6th. Stanton is up 5-3 over the Purcellville Cannons.
Buchanan, UVA man, bats righty, and a bit of a sidearm delivery from Murphy there, taken outside for a ball. His numbers on the season, a 133 average, but he's been on base for about 40% of the time. That's because he's walked 4 times. He's also gotten hit 3 times as he takes one inside for a ball. It's only at bat number 16 here for Buchanan. Hitters count here with 2 outs against Murphy, and he swings away, pops it up near the foul line. The first baseman calls everyone off and makes the catch. So the Tom Sox go quietly in the 8th and will look to shut the door here in the 9th. They're ahead 10-4. Dawson Newman looking to close out this game here as the Tom Sox are ahead of this one 10-4 over the Newmarket Rebels. He will face 9-1-2 starting with Brennan Peterson, who's 0 for 3. First pitch from Newman, a fastball upstairs for ball 1.
If this game were to end, as the scoreline shows, the Tom Sox would find themselves tied for 3rd in the South Division.
Hold on, here's a ground ball through the right side for a base hit. Leadoff man is on Peterson with his first knock of the night. I'll put Jonathan Mallow to the plate here with a man on, nobody out.
Just can't get complacent here if you're Charlottesville. You got to play the same way you've been playing all day. Consistent defense, good pitching, strong put-out play, and get out of here with a win.
Lefty-lefty matchup here between Mallow and Newman. Double play depth for the middle infield. First pitch from Newman, good slider, and it's fouled. Nice agility from Coach Tomlin, able to hop over that one, and it's 0-1. As you mentioned, I mean, We've talked about it before, but the standings in the VBL, it's still relatively early in the season, although the Tom Sox did not get off to the start they wanted. This is the kind of performance that we've been seeing more consistently recently. And this may be the most casual 10 runs we've seen the Tom Sox put up. There's been no home runs in this game, and apart from Lee Sauer's double that hit off the wall, there haven't been a lot of balls that have gone into the deep outfield that haven't been caught.
Yeah, only, I think, 3 extra base hits. 4, if I'm counting correctly. Tanner Shadle and Perry Hargett both picking up a pair.
Mallow cracks one down the right field line. That will go
That
foul.
ball was brought to you by Midge Motors.
1 and 2 here.
Got Midge.
1 and 2 count, nobody out. Runner on first. Newman deals. Caught him looking. Dawson Newman picks up strikeout number 6. And there's one away here in the 9th.
Quiet offense. Talk about quiet defense. Dawson Newman with a quick 7 strikeouts in just about 3 innings of play.
First pitch from Newman to Kelly. Misses inside for a ball. Newman's previous season high in strikeouts was 2. He's sitting at 6 now. And here's the second pitch to Kelly. That one finds the zone for a strike. Logan Kelly in this game. 1 for 2 with a walk. Swung on and missed. And it's 1 and 2. 1 for 3, excuse me. Popped out in the 3rd inning. Struck out in the 7th. Had that single back in the 1st inning. Tom Sox trying to improve to 7 and 10. Kelly hits a ball on the ground through the hole between Soroy and Gamster. And that will be the second single and 3 batters, and that puts 2 runners on here with 1 out for Mike Dobkowski.
Well,
Right fielder Mike Dobkowski.
2 outs to go here, and I feel like if Newman lets in yet another hit in this at-bat or the next one, you got to think about a pitching change if you're Randy Tomlin. Even though he is hot, and I said let pitchers that are hot stay in, it could be good to switch it up a little bit.
Newman just trying to close this one out. There's nobody up in the Tom Sox pen right now. First pitch to Newman, and here's a ground ball up the middle. Sowers can't make the play. It rolls into center field. Rounding third and coming home is Peterson. He will score, and the Tom Sox surrender a run here in the 9th as the Rebels make the score 10-5. And that will get the bullpen going here for Randy Tomlin. You have to be careful because you got 2 ducks on the pond. You have Murphy coming to the plate, and so the runner on deck would represent the tying run.
The pitcher, Matt Murphy.
So an RBI single for Dobkowski. It's his 2nd hit of the night. Now here's Matt Murphy, who had an RBI single in his last at-bat in the 7th. First pitch from Newman. He's now surpassed his season high in batters faced. Back at Strasburg, he faced 14. Dobkowski represented his 15th batter face, so this is Newman's longest outing here as a Tom Sock. Upstairs for 2-0.
He's also gone way over his previous highest pitch count of 51. With that last pitch, he's now at 56.
2-0 on Murphy. Here's a tapper down the 3rd base line that will go foul. Gamster over to collect it. There's a right-hander up in the bullpen. We'll work to identify who that is here as Newman deals. That ball gets by the catcher Clayton and will roll all the way to the fence, and another run will come in. It is now 10-6 on the pass ball here. Got to be really careful here. Don't want to let Newmarket back in this one. Newman fires. Here's a ground ball to third. Takes a high hop. Gamster fires. Shadle comes off the bag. Did he tag him? No, he did not. And so that puts Murphy on here with 2 outs, or 2 on and 1 out. So the 9th inning will continue here. Oh, they just overturned it. Now they called him out. So one of the umpires must have had a better view of the play. And that completely changes the trajectory now. Now there's 2 outs, and the runner's still at second. That's Dobkowski.
That is huge. Originally, it was the run at home plate would be the one that would put them just before or just off of the tying run. And now you have only 2 potential runs in this at-bat with 1 out to go.
So 10-6, Blaine Waltmeyer at the plate. He hits a ground ball down the line. That ball is foul. It was snared by Shadle. Go back to that last play. Just a phenomenal job by Tanner Shadle. He had to jump out of the way of the bag. And he will made that play look way easier than it was. That throw was off the line from Gamster. It is Saxon Roberts in the pen if needed. But now it's 0-2 here on Blaine Waltmeyer. Newman deals. Called strike 3. Dawson Newman slams the door. And it's time to celebrate here at CHO Airport Field as the Sox able to take this one 10-6 over Newmarket. A big win for Charlottesville. Game comes to an end at 9:59, a just under 3-hour game here as the Tom Sox improve to 7-10 on the season. They will move up in the Valley League South standings. Newmarket falls to 5-12 on the year. And a big W at home here as the Tom Sox have now won 4 out of their last 5.
Yeah, it's absolutely huge. The Sox are hot, baby, and you can't let them get hot because you know what they can do in the Valley Baseball League. And now we're 17 games into the season, reaching that middle portion. It's going to be really important to see how they do in this next 10 to 15 game stretch, gearing up for that latter portion of the season.
Big win for the Tom Sox at home. They pick up win number 4 at home, now improving to 4-5 on the young season at CHO Airport Field. But the busy week continues here for the Tom Sox as tomorrow they're on the road at Culpeper again before they return home to face Stanton, before they go on a 2-game road trip at Covington and then Woodstock. So a big week coming up for the Tom Sox, but at least they get some momentum and they win this one 10-6. It's going to do it for our broadcast tonight. Thank you all for those who tuned in here on a sweltering day. A treat for all of you as the Tom Sox take home the win on Bark in the Park night, 10-6 over Newmarket. Have a good night, everyone.